right. Welcome back to another live stream. For those that celebrate today or observe today, Merry Christmas to you and your families. I hope everyone is doing well today, having a good day. Hopefully, getting the um, the chance to spend time with family and friends and just do whatever you do on Christmas. Eat, play games, just chill. As long as everyone is healthy and doing well. We got Digger Mike in the house. My friend, good to see you. Long time no talk. um, I was just doing our little intro here, and I was just basically saying to those of you that celebrate today, Christmas, and observe Christmas, Merry Christmas to everybody. Um, and just hope everyone is doing well today. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, that's totally okay too. As long as you're good today, you're healthy, having a good day, and same thing. If you get to see family and friends, that's cool. So, it's pretty chilly out here today. Got some coffee. It's not even hot. It's cold, but it's kind of weird because I prefer, I like my coffee hot, but I let it cool down so that way I can basically just chug it. But it's pretty chilly. We got Ground Pounder in the house, my friend, as well. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Again, long time, same thing. Long time no talk. Like I was just telling Mike here, I opened my Christmas present from God this morning. That was a nice present. Did you ever catch that? What was it? The coyote, or the wolf, or the what? No, it was coyote, right? What's going on there? Did you get him or not? I saw the tracks. I mean, it looked fun. But that was a great present, though, for sure. Something tells me that you cooked it. I don't know. You could cook it, probably. I don't know. I'm sure people do. Snares are out hunting now. Let's see. Digger Mike says, "How was your Christmas and the family?" Family's doing really good, thankfully, and my Christmas has been good. It's been mellow. It's just been Grandma and Grandpa and I here, and it's been good. Went on my morning walk, or my first walk of the day, I should say. It was a little late. That's kind of what caused the delay on the live stream. I did have an intent to start the live stream a little earlier, but it's okay. We're here now, and that's all that matters. But it's been good. Hopefully your day has been well. Let's see. Daniel McKay. All right. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. We got Hawken giving us a thumbs up. My friend, thumbs up back to you. We have Helmet in the house saying good morning from Germany. Much love to you in Germany, and good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We got a good little crowd in the house. I know a lot of people are doing things today, festivity stuff. So, but it looks like we got a good little crowd in here today. Pugo is Kuntal. Not sure what that means, but either way, much love to you, and hope you're doing well today. So basically, for those of you that are here right now, and we're gonna probably get going here soon before it gets a little too, not late, but just, anyways, we're gonna get going here soon. We're doing some cylinder work. So let me give you guys a little look of the setup here. Good old coffee, and this is the setup right now. So 461 cylinder from yesterday that we were checking out. Our personal Echo 2511 T cylinder. It's a brand new cylinder for the most part. It has maybe an hour and a half of runtime, probably less. The plan is to port it. And also from yesterday, Big Bertha cylinder, our personal 661C. and some of the things that I will be using. Not everything, but some stuff. Starting off with a little sanding, and this is they call it a flex shaft grinder rotary tool. It's basically just a Dremel. It's a little broken right now. I'm giving myself away. And that is the motor. Literally just a flex shaft grinder. As you can see, it says there, I got it on Amazon for $100. Those are the specifications. There is higher output motors, but for what we're doing, it works just fine. And it is all driven by a foot pedal. Variable speed, obviously. Well, I was going to say obviously, but some may not know that. But this is what we got going on right now. I basically just all set up just to, good old Instagram pictures, and did a little video and a little short. So that'll be on our channel here soon, later. I promise I'm not this organized. I mean, I am organized, but not this much. I mean, I am. Okay, we're gonna move on. So this is a, let me just read some of these comments here. That piston you showed on the gram was jacked. I don't know. It's not that bad. I think it'll buff out. I think we can buff it out. Maybe we can just re-glue part of it back together. No, it was really, yeah, man, that's the worst piston that I have seen to date here in the shop. Even at the shop that I used to work at, I have never seen a piston like that. And who knows, it might not be the last either. So, Darko Mark, what died? Carburetors, broken bolts. Well, we haven't killed anything yet. Well, actually, these cylinders here, well, this one, so again, this is from our personal 661 that I call Big Bertha. We tore it apart yesterday and took the cylinder off. Here's all of its parts. These are all brand new that I had laying around. Just gave it a little cosmetic facelift, if you will. And some West Coast soft flare, West Coast clutch cover, 3-point dogs. And that's about it. So what's going on with this one? You know, it's scored. It's pretty bad. It has some gouges, but there it is. But today, which is what we're going to start off with first, is I'm going to just hit it with our rotary tool here and see if we can buff out some of those gouges and clean it up. I've done a few cylinders already with some good success. I'm not going to say great success. I don't want to sound too full of shit. But this side is pretty gougey too. So gougey, for those that don't know, or gouge, it's just, all it means, it's deep grooves or indentations. It's pretty bad. But what else are we doing today? So I'm going to do a little messing around on this, on our cylinder, and see what I can do. The piston is totally gone. That's not worth even trying to bother with. The piston rings are all seized on there and stuck. Ground pounder, yeah, no, man, it was wild. It was wild. That is some good damage control, if I do say so myself. This one here, again, this is our Echo 2511 cylinder. This one is perfect. It's got a little something there. I was probably running it a little too lean when I was messing with the Egan straight pipe, but nothing that's going to affect performance right now. And this, as you can see, it's really nice. Again, this one only has maybe, I'm going to say like an hour and 15 minutes of runtime. I basically bought it brand new at the shop that I was working at, slapped on the quarter pitch conversion. I had the ripsaw bar, the Buck and Billy dogs, which honestly, in my opinion, no disrespect to Buckin or anything, but those are kind of, they're just, for me, I don't like them. Okay, the West Coast ones are a lot better. And I also had, which I have another one laying around, an extra, because I bought two at the time. I was running the Egan straight shot pipe, and I basically was just tuning it just to get a feel for it. But right now, we'll see if we can get to this, but the plan is to port it a little bit. And this one, as you can see, as I like to say, it got pretty toasty. Same thing with Big Bertha's over here, 661. Pretty toasty. This one here, it does have some scoring, not to the point where it's gouges. It's just piston transfer, so basically just markings from the piston coming in contact with the sleeve. It might have a little gouge here and there, but nothing major, nothing major. The main thing here is, though, as you can see, let me just get to some of these comments. I feel bad leaving you guys hanging sometimes, but if you guys are looking right now, if you notice that squish band, not very good. As you can see, there's particles literally melted on into the squish band there, and that's all part of the piston chunk that came off of the 461 piston, which I have it here next to me. I'll show you guys in just a moment. Part of the piston rings as well. So I think I need to figure out how. I have an idea. Thankfully, I'm fortunate enough to have some buddies in the chainsaw world, so I was going to reach out to them and see what we can do, or the best way to clean it. I would, if I could, I would just do a little machining, just cut the band a little bit, and that should be fine. But we're not quite there yet. Anyhow, so the exhaust port, which is where? This side. All right, let's get it together here. Our theory is that the piston ring, from getting so hot, I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not sure. But the theory is that the piston ring hung up on the exhaust port. It was super hot, and it just took a chunk right out of the piston. But I think we can kind of sand it out. It's nothing major, but we're gonna just clean up the cylinder sleeve at least a little bit for now, and then see what we can do about that squish band, because that's not gonna do good. And that's what we're doing. Part of the plan is today. So basically right now we're going to start off with some cylinder cleaning, see what we can do on Big Bertha. This one's going to clean up fine, but we need to figure out what we're going to do with the squish band, and then we'll see if we can start doing some porting on this. At least maybe start doing the air intake side, because I have never done a 2511, so I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to tackle this exhaust port. As you can see, it's a little different. I know all cylinders are different, but I haven't done an exhaust port like this yet, so we'll see. Ground pounder, so my bad, I'm sorry guys. Darko Mark says, is it worth fixing? It depends on how, in my opinion, it depends on how bad the scoring is, gouging is. If it's light gouges, a couple little gouges here and there, it is worth fixing. In my opinion, you can definitely fix, what I call like restoring the cylinder sleeve, which I've done. I've done it to a buddy's 500i. A shop was about to try to charge him $800 for a new top end, and then they were trying to say, well, the crankshaft might be toast, which it wasn't. And they're like, it could easily be double. So basically charging him for a brand new 500i. And I said, you know what, man, nah. Bring it to me. Let me see what I can do. Cleaned it up, and it's out there making him money right now. So it is worth, sometimes it is worth fixing, or trying to, especially if you have the time, if you have a little patience, maybe a little creativity. It is worth fixing sometimes. Sometimes it's not. Big Bertha's is something that I would almost consider not worth fixing, or doing what we're going to try to do today. But again, we have some time right now. Wow, someone's Harley's backfiring pretty hard right now. You guys hear that? But we're going to just see what we can do without not, there's a couple things, making sure that we're not going through the chrome plating. And even then, I mean, the wheels that I have, the bits that I have right now are not super coarse, but we're going to just see. I mean, at this point in time right now, this cylinder is kind of on the non-salvageable side, but we're going to just mess around for a little bit and see what we can do. The 461, as far as Nice Harley. Sounds good. The cylinder sleeve on the 461 cylinder, it definitely is worth just touching up with a little sandpaper. You know, you could even do it with, this is kind of like my finishing, they call it plumber's abrasive sandcloth. It's just sandpaper. The squish band though, that is what I'm going to reach out to. If you guys know who he is, I'm going to reach out to Aaron Lynch here on YouTube. Awesome dude. And see, like I said, some machining, I think it'll be fine. You know, just cut the band a little bit. In my mind, in my theory. But again, I don't know. I could, you know, I might talk to him and he might say, nah, you know, but I think usually there's a solution to things. But in this case, this is the first time I've had a cylinder come in with the squish band like that. But the cylinder sleeve on the 461 here, it is worth it. So it's at this point halfway salvageable in my opinion. But again, certain cylinders are just not, unless you're going to do a honing job, and that gets, to my understanding, it's a little tricky. It's not just honing and that's it. There's a couple things you have to keep in mind. Let's see, Ground Pounder says, like it ran straight gas with you, never saw one so bad. Yeah, so the 461 here, I have another 461 from the same customer. It's a tree service, so sometimes, like I was saying on last night's stream, let me get you guys, let me move this cylinder because I feel weird kind of talking angle there. Like I was talking last night, and one thing that I'm going to work on today, so if you guys hear me kind of pause for a second, is because I was watching last night's live stream, and I say a lot, and that to me is annoying. It might not be a big deal, but I just, like, every other word was like so today I'm working on the ums. So it's actually kind of difficult. So like I was talking about last night, is that we're not all the same. You know, we don't always, meaning some people, it's just a tool, which I know a chainsaw is a tool, but not all people are chainsaw peeps. You know what I mean? Some people just use them. It's like people that drive cars. Some people are into cars, you know, they check their oil, they check their coolant, they do everything, maintenance, routine maintenance, everything. Some people, they just get in the car and they drive it, and that's it. Same thing with people that run equipment, whether it's weed eaters, anything, they just run the equipment and they don't really worry about or even think about doing general maintenance. And so that's what I think happened, is that the people running this 461 in particular, maybe they were in a rush, maybe they mixed their fuel wrong or incorrectly, or maybe they did everything right and they just ran it way too hard, or who knows? You never know. It's tricky running a tree service company. A lot of the guys that I deal with, a lot of customers, just because there's so many people mixing gas and everything, for better peace of mind, they just mix their own. And even then, you know, mistakes can happen. You're in a rush. That's the second I'm not even going to worry about it too much, but I'm trying to be mindful. So it could have been some straight gas. Again, it could have just been a very poor mixture, or somehow they just really just ran it super, super hard. But yeah, it's tricky, man. It's crazy. I've never seen a piston like that, at least now. Let's see. Sorry, my bad. I'm missing some of these comments. Darko says, I guess China makes stuff you can use until it dies and put new ones in. Yeah, so we can easily put an aftermarket cylinder. They've become a lot more popular in the chainsaw world. The highway cylinders and just aftermarket cylinders, you can buy cylinders for as cheap as $50. I've seen them upwards of $100 or maybe a little more depending. But you know, here I always go for OEM genuine cylinders, unless I get a customer that says, I want cheap, and I understand the risk and blah, 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 then that's fine. We'll throw in a highway cylinder, we'll throw in whatever. But, you know, that's not really how I do things. I definitely don't recommend it. But again, if someone comes in and they say, you know what, I don't care, throw in a Chinese cylinder, $20 cylinder, I don't care what it is, I understand the risk. As long as they understand the risk, then I'll do it. But I'm not going to feel good with that. But if that's what they want, that's what they want. So all I can do is advise and recommend. But it's like when I worked at the shop, the power equipment shop here in town. You can tell them all day, you know, when you sell a chainsaw or a piece of equipment, you tell them, hey, if you have a second, I know it's boring, but just review the manual, just skim the manual. There is good information there, and blah, blah, blah. You can give them all the recommendations, but at the end of the day, you cannot make them listen. So that's kind of my take on that. Digger Mike says, as Buckin would say, to each his own. Yeah, and that's it. I mean, I can sit here all day and I could say, oh, you know, so and so sucks, that sucks, but at the end of the day, that's just my opinion. And just like I find myself saying often, we all have different experiences, you know, so yeah, I completely agree with that. And Buckin, you know, I don't watch his videos too much anymore. I never really did, but I like his style. I mainly just like his view of just treating people right and just being trying to be a good human being. As some of you noticed, I have one of his quotes in the bio, which is just the work hard, be kind, be honest. I think I said it right. I'm not sure, but I really do my best to apply that to my life. And like I was actually saying yesterday, it seems like pretty easy stuff. Be kind, work hard, be honest. It may sound bad to some, but sometimes it's pretty challenging. Not so much for me, the honesty. I'm pretty straight up, and honestly, I make a lot of people upset sometimes being just honest instead of bullshitting and sugarcoating. But the work hard and the being kind is tricky. You know, you have a long day, patience is running low, whatever the reason is, it's tricky, right? Some people might find the honesty part a little tricky. You know, whether it's because they don't want confrontation, they don't like confrontation, they don't want to hurt people's feelings by being honest or brutally honest. But I'm one of those types of people that I'd rather have a very uncomfortable and hard conversation than lying and then causing more harm and blah, blah, blah. But again, that's just me. So we got Chevy 5-speed in the house. Hello, hello. All right, Ground. Have a good dinner. Merry Christmas. I'm sure we'll talk soon. Thank you for hanging out for a little bit, man. And hopefully, yeah. And make sure you get that Yodi, man. We'd love to see that. I know I would, for sure. Darko says, what steel model is 1,000 euros in price? Only a full would screw up. 1,000 euros? I'm not, see, now this is where I'm kind of like, what? I'm not sure what that would equate to in you know, in American money. But you could, I mean, anybody can screw up a saw. It doesn't matter what the price is. You can buy an 881, almost $3,000, and you can simply just run a poor fuel mixture, and there you go. Any saw, it doesn't even matter how much it costs. One simple thing can really just screw it up. Running a dull chain and not being able to identify when your chain is getting dull, or again, maybe you let someone borrow your equipment, whether it be, again, a saw, weed eater, whatever, and they run some 4-cycle, some straight gas, and there you go. So I think all equipment, doesn't matter the price or the quality, anybody can mess it up. Anybody can screw it up. And you know, that was one of the biggest things at the power equipment shop that I worked at. Most of the time, when somebody would bring in their equipment, because we did it, we serviced everything there. Meaning like generators, power washers, anything small engine, we did. And a lot of the times, it wasn't even the owner of the equipment. Sometimes it was, I just let my friend borrow it, my neighbor borrow it, somebody, family member, and now it just doesn't run right, or now it just doesn't start. And at that point, you kind of have to assume the worst case scenario. But yeah, it doesn't even matter what the cost is, what the price is. Equipment can be ruined very, very quickly. Very quickly. And I'm going to get a little distracted here in just a second. Okay. I appreciate everyone keeping the comments live. I'll be answering comments, I promise, but let's go ahead and just try to do a little something. This live stream is going to be pretty laid back. All live streams are pretty laid back, I feel like, but sometimes I do try to keep it moving a little bit. But like I was just saying earlier, repairs are caught up, and not that we can procrastinate too much, but because I still have to do quite a bit of saw cleaning. I have 3 more saws that are just really, really dirty, like the one that I just did a few days ago, the 201. All saws are dirty. They all get dirty, but I really do enjoy cleaning saws to the point where, and not to sound full of crap, but to the point now where the saws that I usually get, I'm like, they're normal. They're normal dirty, but the ones that I got recently in this last batch, whew, dirty, dirty. I'm going to try to close the shed door here just a little bit. Take a sip of coffee. So let's get started with Big Bertha's, our personal 661. Start up with that cylinder and just see what we can do. Because worst case scenario, we already have in our mind that this is not good. So just a little rundown. This box right here has a little bit of this and a little bit of that. This is an actual Dremel little kit. So it even has some polishing paste, which I've never used, but we could try it. Polishing wheels, sanding wheels, or sanding bits. It's more like a wheel, I guess. I don't know. Grinding wheels. I feel like this is more like a wheel. Cutting, polishing bits, and then the little accessories to mount everything. This is the same thing. Grinding stones, cutting wheels, sanding bits. I'm not really sure what these green ones are for. These here, but they smell like crap. I just smelled them anyways, right? These ones are more like the reinforced, so a little bit more durable for cutting, that I use sometimes for cutting up mufflers and things like that. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. This is what came with the rotary tool. So I got everything on Amazon. This came with it. The actual grinder was this. It was $100, and then these are just some carbide burrs, different styles, sizes. I think it's a set of 24. Same thing, bought them on Amazon. Excuse me. They hold it pretty well. They hold it pretty well. You know, for being $15 bits. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert on carbide bits or burrs, but they work. They get the job done. And these were $15. So the motor for the rotary tool, or the flex shaft grinder, and these total with shipping and tax, $115. Pretty cool. These ones I specifically use for porting, and sometimes what else do I use them for? Cutting things, kind of shaping things. I used these burrs when I did the muffler modification on the 150 TC that I ported. Well, so let's go ahead and just get started. So on the intake side, what I'm doing is I'm scratching my nail over the marks. That's one good way. I think that's kind of the only way. Well, not the only way. You can use like a pick tool to see if you guys can hear that. It's hanging up. The marks are hanging up on my nail. So to me, that would indicate a gouge level score. To me, in my mind, there's two levels of scoring. Markings, which will be smooth to the touch. Your nail won't hang up on them. Those can definitely be cleaned up a lot easier. But once you have that, now that's what I would consider level 2 scoring. They can be cleaned up. Sometimes if they're really bad, again, you can do honing, but that's a little more tricky. I've never done a honing job before, and it's not just a matter of getting your honing wheel or bit and going for it, because there's just things that you need to keep in mind. Not taking off too much material, so that way everything sits perfectly. And just, again, I've never done it, so I've only just used this method here. So what I'm using now, I don't know what grit this is. It's kind of coarse, but not super coarse. It's not fine either. So it's like a medium coarse. I don't know. This is the Dremel though. This is the Dremel brand. And these over here are just the ones that came with the kit. So I'm gonna just go with this one first. It's broken. Again, I'm throwing myself under the bus. It's not supposed to do that. My dumb ass lost the little bearing that goes into this clip. Oh, but it still works. One day when we grow up and we're like the big dogs, we're gonna one day have a Fordham, because those are really nice. But this works really well. You know, I specifically bought this for porting. Don't port that much, but I've used this for many things: cutting, modifying mufflers, doing cylinder sleeve cleanups, and yeah, some porting, but not as much as I thought right now. And so, very good investment. Again, it's basically just a Dremel. Just, it looks cooler though. Let's see here. Sorry guys, I'm giving someone your tool because he burned out his is just stupid. Yeah, and that's a lot of the, you know, that's usually the common mistake that I've found, at least when I was working at the power equipment shop, is that, you know, they're like, oh, their equipment wasn't running right, or just like you're saying. I would be very hesitant if they were like, yeah, man, I don't know, you know, my chainsaw stopped working, or my leaf blower stopped working, or I would ask some questions before I let someone borrow my equipment. But I understand, you know, we want to be kind, we want to be a good neighbor, and blah, blah, blah. But at that point, I would say, hey, if something happens, well, you're going to help me out with the cost or something. Digger Mike says, I see you clean saws. Have you tried soaking plastics in vegetable oil to bring them back to color? I have not. I have not tried doing that. So what I have done, I think I've done it on a couple top handles, like a 200T, and yeah, 200T. And I just did this method actually on a 201. I just hit it with some of this fine sandpaper on the plastic, and I just touch it up a little bit, and it brings it back to life. And it works out really well. The last thing that I did that on was a 201. It had a little bit of burn marks from the plastic heating up on the muffler, and just to try it, I just hit the little edge there, and it came out good. But no, I've never tried that. Does it work pretty good? We got Yank Doodle Diesel. Yeah, we had GP in the house. He's off to dinner right now, but yeah, awesome dude for sure. Not to brag or nothing, but sometimes we get the man Aaron in here, Aaron Lynch. If you guys like saw ripping, porting, or just like to see some good saw ripping action, that's your guy right there. Good dude, good dude. I'm very fortunate and grateful and blessed to be able to call Ground Pounder and Aaron buddies and friends. We also have some other cool people that show up sometimes. You may or may not know her, Married with Small Engines. So it's pretty cool. It's been a really great journey here. Darko says a bigger piston size. That is an option. That is an option for sure. It can be an option. But again, that's just kind of a little past my expertise right now. I've never had to do it, but I would like to mess around one day. You know, maybe pick up some junk cylinders and just see what we can do. Because that's the only way we learn anything, usually, is just trial and error. We got Lewis in the house. Oddball Lewis, what up, my friend? Merry Christmas to you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Hope that 038 is running good still. That was fun. Darko says if it works, don't replace it. That's usually my theory too. My little motto is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I've actually made repairs a little tougher on myself because I want to be a little extra, and whether it's clean something or just something that is perfectly fine, but again, I just want to kind of go a little above and beyond. And boy, I'll tell you, not the business sometimes. Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Okay, let's see what we can do here, though. So, did you guys hear that two-step? All right. Let me just get through some of these comments real quick. Sorry, guys. Lavocado. Hello, hello. Merry Christmas to you. Yes, once you clean it, let it soak, and it puts oil back in the plastic and brightens it up. And you put me on Married with Small Engines, and I've been, yeah, no, her channel is great. Married with Small Engines, she's amazing. Great videos, great educational, like great information. To me, they're just straight to the point. Good vibes. Her shop is amazing. That's goals for me, just having a nice work. I mean, I'm blessed to have this, don't get me wrong. But her shop is amazing. And her farm's amazing too. It's freaking cool. I don't know about all that snow, but hey, goals right there. But I may have to try the oil. Sometimes if I really want to try to get a shine, if I want to be extra, I'll use some purple power, and that kind of works. But I think that, you know, some people even say, I think that would be kind of like heating up the plastic a little bit, right? Maybe. I don't know. But anyways, let's see what we can do here. I know I'm doing a lot of blabbing, but I don't want to leave you guys hanging on the comments. And actually, you know what? Talking about purple power, I'm gonna just clean up the cylinder sleeve a little bit, because there is a little bit of grime, a little bit of, obviously, you know, to be expected, but just so that way our sanding wheel don't really have any left. Actually, I don't have any, but we should have enough to clean it up a little bit. I really like the purple power. I was using another degreaser cleaner called Super Cleaner, which is basically the same thing as this. They're both purple, but I don't know. I like the purple power. Sold a lot of Super Cleaner at the shop, because when customers would come in and pick up their equipment, they're like, "Oh my god." Well, let's not be dramatic, but they're like, "Wow, my stuff looks really nice. What'd you use?" And I'd be like, "Oh," because the shop that I used to work at, so it was a little branch off of Ace Hardware. They just had their own little power equipment shop, or they have their own little power equipment shop. It's called the Supply Place, and it was a hardware store and power equipment, so it was like best of both worlds there. Hamid, hello, hello. Welcome back, my friend. Okay, let's just go ahead and clean this up. but the Purple Power works good. I got the double strength. I'm sure the original formula works good, but I kind of figured, well, we have some dirty stuff here, so probably just, it was only cents more. Maybe $1. No, not even $1, but I mainly just use it for either this, metal products, like cleaning up sprockets, clutches sometimes, and mainly though chains, because I like to clean them before I sharpen them for various reasons. One, it helps just take off some of that grime that's built up on the chain, and you can get a better visual inspection on it to catch any damage on it, mainly on the drive links. Cutters you can tell, although sometimes, you know, the cutters are kind of, and also it looks good, but at the same time, also another reason is it protects your grinding wheel or your files. Just gives you a little more longevity of your files. I do all hand filing here now. At the shop I was a little spoiled. I was using the steel USG grinder, but I like hand filing. It's kind of therapeutic. Which I know yesterday, for those that were here, we were talking about doing some chain sharpening, but it's kind of my fault. The live stream started a little later, so we're gonna basically just get through this, and I think the 461, and we might be able to get some porting, or at least start porting the air intake. We'll see though, but we're not gonna rush it. We're gonna take it slow. I'm just happy to be here with you guys though. Okay. Oh wow. The scoring is gone. Purple Power cleaned up I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I should be careful when I say things like that, because some people might be like, really? I'm gonna go ahead and buy some Purple Power right now, and then all right. Let's see what we can do here. Wesper. Clean. Yeah, I was just giving the cylinder sleeve a little clean, a little wipe down with some Purple Power, so that way when we run our sanding wheel here, it just, the grease doesn't stick to the sanding wheel, and that's just my theory, but we'll see. And I'm actually going to use the same rag just to clean off as I go. And just like porting, I like to do a little bit and stop and just see what's going on. And already, actually, wow, that's some good grit. Not even joking, check it out. You hear that? Smooth. And that was just one little pass. And another thing that I like to follow when I do sanding or porting, especially porting, but I follow the same kind of like rule. Let the tool do its thing. Don't sit there and apply a bunch of pressure. Just let the wheel or whatever bit you're using, let it do let it do its thing. If you notice that it's not doing much, apply a little more pressure, but don't just like that. Don't just let it do its thing. So right now, I was only applying enough pressure just to keep the tool, the sanding paper wheel or whatever the wheel on the sleeve, but I wasn't applying any real additional pressure. I was just letting it do its thing. So I'll be able to do the bottom half of the sleeve, but as you can tell, as you can see, it's short. It needs to be a little longer. So I guess sometimes bigger is better, okay? He said what? Relax, people. So I'm not going to be able to get, well, I might be able to. We'll see. We'll see. Let's not be so natives right off the bat. Brutal clean. I'm not sure what I don't know what that means. I don't know. I promise you it's not that bad though. It's not. Now, if I was hitting it with like a carbide, that's just, at that point, we're doing some finger ports. Let's see. Digger Mike says, I wonder how valve grinding compound would do cleaning up scoring into a cylinder. Never heard of it, but actually, wait. No, I'm not going to try to act like I know what you're saying, but there are such things though, and I'm curious too, and that's another thing that I'm going to look into, because I'm always not just saying this, but I really am open-minded. I like trying different things. Actually, I think where I recently just heard about that, Mike, was a channel called Some Guys Saw Shop. I think he was using something like that. I think, or was it Oliver of All Trades? Now I'm not, but I recently heard something like that. How about that? And at this point, it's already cleaned, but I'm just making it a little cleaner, meaning so it doesn't look all crazy, even though I'm going to hit it with that finer sandpaper just for a little finish. Jack the Ripper says it's ruined. Sir, like Darko said, it was already ruined. for one, this is our personal cylinder off of our 661, and it's actually better now. Not to sound full of shice, but it's better. It would be ruined if we were using some very coarse sandpaper or sanding wheel and we started penetrating through the chrome plating, because anytime you do that, that is ruined. I've done the same thing to my buddy's 500i cylinder, and it's ripping. It's still ripping, and that's already been, it's already been at least 2 months, maybe going on 3 months. Wow. And this one had some pretty nice gouges on it, and now we got nothing. Then at this point, I don't even have to go further, because the whole point was just to clean up the exhaust side. I just need to get up to the top to remove the transfer, the piston transfer on the top. It's not gouged at the top, but those markings could cause some performance issues. But the wheel, I don't know if it'll reach all the way to the top. Of course, there's only one way to find out, and we will. But I would say the intake side does have, doesn't even have, definitely no gouges, and it doesn't even have any transfer. It just has a little bit of this is not, you see that little, it might be a little, but it's not even, it doesn't even have markings. I mean, it's beginning to start to have markings, and I could clean it up just for shoots and giggles. But like we were just saying, if it ain't broke, and again, this is not for a customer, so I could just, the piston for Big Bertha, our 661, I'm definitely not going to try to clean that, because that's just not worth it to me. I'd rather just buy a piston, and then once the piston shows up, throw the sleeve back on and see how it runs. Oh yeah, it does have some a little bit of gouging there at the top of the exhaust port. Or wait, actually that's at the top of one of the transfers. I don't know, this is kind of cool, because I also have another 661 piston, or cylinder, I mean. This is an actual customer's, and I think, you know what, I think I'm going to just try to clean this one too, because it's pretty much, this Big Bertha's was actually worse. This guy's, it's got some gouging. This one does have gouging at the top of the exhaust port, but they're not super crazy. So I think I'm going to just try to clean it up too, and same thing, just buy a piston for it and just see what we can do, instead of having to have him buy a whole new top end for at least 400 bucks or however much they go for. Okay, we're on to something here. We are on to something here. Bore it out and get a bigger piston. That would be kind of cool. Turned it into like a big bore kit, but again, I would actually try to do that. I would try to do that on our personal, but on our customers there, I think I'm going to just try to clean it first and see what kind of results I get. First, we'll run this first. Wow. First, we'll run this first. First, I'll run this and see what results we get. But I know, I'm very confident that it'll be good, because my buddy's 500i cylinder was kind of worse than this. And I cleaned up the piston as well. I cleaned it up, put new rings on it. They were actually used rings that I got from a mechanic at another power equipment shop in the next town over. He was really cool. He hooked me up with a 500i cylinder that I actually have now sitting here as an extra. It needs a little bit more cleaning, but it was actually in better condition than Anthony's. But I was like, you know what, let me just try on his original cylinder first. And then I did use the rings from the piston that he gave me, and then this is actually Anthony's original 500i piston right here. If you can hear that. Ooh, that's pretty. This side's, it's got some very minor gouging, but it's mostly just markings there. Cool, right on. All right, let's see if I can get to the top of that transfer there, because that one has a little gouging at the top. Let's see, does this making hole crooked? Will rings later seal the space between piston and inside the wall? So Darko, this is not, we're not even changing much. It's not taking off a bunch of material. It's not. I mean, if I was sitting there just for a good while, I mean, it takes quite a bit to really change the diameter and the shape of the cylinder sleeve. Again, if I was using some very coarse, like more coarse than this, then yes, we would be eventually changing the shape or the size of the cylinder sleeve. So right now, I mean, okay, we are still taking material, but compared to, again, higher coarse sandpaper, because there's nothing. Now, if we were using something like a carbide burr for some reason, then yeah, we're taking off material at a very high rate, and for sure going to be changing some stuff. We got Moises Ramirez. Hola, buenas tardes. Pues ya casi buenas noches, pero es tardes todavía. Feliz Navidad. So, ¿qué usas para pulir los cilindros cuando están rayados? So ahorita lo que estoy, so what Moises is asking, basically what am I using, or what do I use to clean up cylinder sleeves or pistons when they're scored up. So lo que yo estoy usando ahorita es una rueda de, no sé cómo decirlo en español, pero de sandpaper. So yo comienzo con esto, algo que no es muy fino, pero no tan duro, ¿verdad? So entre medio, como maybe de 320 o por ahí, y pues ya nomás le doy una limpiada, y ya cuando le limpio las rayas, ahorita esta tenía rayas, pero también ya tenía como más como zanjitas, más hondas, ¿verdad? Rayas hondas, y eso es más grave, pero se limpió, ya está suave. Y ya para acabar, como para hacerle como un polish, o nomás para balancear pues la limpieza, uso también un sandpaper de pues más fino, ¿verdad? Que no es tan duro. So, esta es de 120. Esta rueda yo creo que es maybe de, pues no sé, maybe de 320 o 400, maybe, por ahí. Pero es más duro que esta. Y ya de eso, pues es todo lo que uso. También eso es lo que uso para limpiar los pistones también. Depende qué tan graves estén o dañados. Como este, no vale la pena. Pero sí ha limpiado pistones. Como hice un trabajo para una 500, le limpié poquito simplemente con un pedacito de del 120. Le puse nuevos anillos. La manga del cilindro le limpié con la rueda de sandpaper, y todavía funciona muy bien, corre muy bien, fuerte, así como si fuera pues original. Digger Mike, feliz Navidad, amigos míos. Right on, brother. You speak Spanish though? Let me see. Let me find out. a little, I have the Spanish employees, and they just went home for the winter. Great guys, I think the world of them. I have 3. Okay, right on, man, right on. What kind of business do you run? Tree service, or do you just kind of irrelevant, but not to be rude, but that was. I'm just curious. I always just assume tree service for some reason. So I am able to get to the top there, like up towards the squish band. I just got to kind of finesse it a little bit, but there's still a little bit of gouge at the top of that transfer, of the upper transfer there. But I think, yeah, man, I think we're on a something here, guys. Definitely, it's all smooth, a lot smoother, and definitely the spot where the bottom of the sleeve, it's perfect. Well, not perfect. That's a little too. But you guys get what I'm saying. Chrome plating is fine, because again, that's the major thing that you need to really worry about. Also, is not going through the chrome plating, because then it'll definitely be ruined. It might run still, but then it's just going to be chipping off, and you don't want it's not good. You don't want to do that. And so it might seem, because that I'm really constantly moving, so it looks like I'm just scribbling the crap out of the sleeve, but I follow the same kind of like rule or principle like I do porting. And I've already learned kind of the hard way on when I was doing porting. Thankfully, it was on a practice cylinder when I first started. You want to constantly keep the tool moving. You don't want to leave it in one place for too long, even a split second, because especially carbide burrs and cylinder metal, very soft, it'll just, believe me, things will go wrong very quick. Same thing with sanding. You don't want to just sit there, because then it's just not going to be even, and you just, I follow the same rule. Just keep the tool constantly moving. When I started studying on porting, which, watching on good old YouTube University, that was the main thing that I picked up. Well, one of the things that I would pick up, and you hear constantly, always keep the tool moving. Don't just let it sit there for too long, because it'll just start digging right into that metal. And cylinder metal is very, very soft. And yeah, I've already learned. So I'm going to try to get the rest of those markings going up to the squish band there. Right now I'm getting the markings that are in between the exhaust port and that transfer. It's not gouges, but it's markings. I'd rather just get it out of there. I'm going to work on a little bit of that upper transfer there. It's still a little rough. And one thing I would say also, especially working really close to the edge or to the border of your ports, whether it be your exhaust port or your transfer, you just want to make sure that you're not, especially if you're working from the inside, you don't want to lip off your exhaust ports, because then you will get hangups of, the piston ring will start hanging up, and that's one of the major things too when you're doing porting your ports. You don't want to lip off your ports or your transfer somehow. You don't want to create a lip, because then that's just going to cause a lot of problems. So that's all. I'm just making sure, because I am working very closely to the lip of that transfer, and I just want to make sure that nothing happens. Valles, JKV, says, Feliz Navidad y que aquí andamos con mi burrito sabanero. Bendiciones desde Zacatecas. Mucho amor, gracias. Bendiciones también a usted y gracias por el apoyo y las palabras amables. Y pues sí, gracias. Feliz Navidad y saludos a todos de Zacatecas y de México y de toda la raza que se está conectando o que está conectada ahorita. Muchos saludos y gracias por estar aquí hoy un ratito. Aquí andamos pues echándole ganitas, ¿verdad? Manteniendo ocupado, manteniendo la mente ocupada, distraída, porque también pues se pone pelada, algunas veces estamos ahí con los pensamientos en la casa, maybe nos pega la desesperación, pero tenemos que echarle ganas. Yo sé que es poquito duro algunas veces, ¿verdad? Maybe no duro, pero poquito trucoso, pero aquí andamos y con gusto aquí estamos. Total Tech, hello, hello, hello. Hope you're doing well. Merry Christmas to you. I don't know if you celebrate, but Merry Christmas to you. Hope you're doing well. Hope the fam's doing good. Thank you for always coming in and saying hello. Moisés, he arreglado una 500, una 400, una... Y traen el pistón como el color amarillo. Les he puesto de la marca Meteor, pero... Pues la marca Meteor, pues Meteor también es un tipo de estilo del pistón. Tiene como... como por ejemplo, este es un pistón original. Este es de esta 461. Se le quebró un pedazo aquí del pistón. Ahorita estamos pensando que el anillo pues se salió y hizo contacto con el exhaust port, con el port del escape, y pues se calentó demasiado, porque si nota, pues el cilindro pues ya, ¿verdad? Se mira un poquito quemado. Pero pues está plano, ¿verdad? La cabeza de este pistón está plano. Y el Meteor pues tiene como, ¿verdad? Poquito redondo. Es nomás un estilo, pero sí es una marca también. Pero no creo que vaya a afectar cómo corre. Algunos piensan que el estilo Meteor, que pues tiene poquito redondo, corren mejor, más compresión. Pero simplemente de lo que yo entiendo es nomás un estilo del pistón, de la cabeza. Pero lo que sí va a importar es pues la calidad, ¿verdad? Del metal, del pistón. Y como aquí ahorita se le cayó un pedazo del anillo que se estaba reditiendo aquí. Estaba reditido aquí en el pistón, más o menos soldeado, porque estaba bien caliente. Pero en mi opinión no creo que vaya a afectar el estilo. Muchos prefieren ese estilo, el Meteor. Algunos prefieren pues pistón regular, pero siempre todo lo que va a hacer diferencia va a ser pues la calidad, ¿verdad? Así como por ejemplo un cilindro, ¿verdad? Original, y uno que es lo que le dicen el Aftermarket o de China, ¿verdad? Como la marca, la Highway, ¿verdad? Han mejorado, porque donde tenían las problemas y las fallas era del plating, que le llaman el Nickel o el chrome plating. Lo que estaba pasando con esos cilindros, los Aftermarkets, es que el plating estaba bien débil, estaba bien frágil. Lo que notaban es que tenía como bombitas adentro, o fácil ¿verdad? Se le hacía como chipping también, se le quebraba. Pero también tienen diferentes tipos de platear, ¿verdad? De la plata o de lo que sea, no sé cómo decirlo en español, pero como el nickel plating es, de lo que yo entiendo, pues la mejor calidad. Y después también hay, ¿cómo se dice? Titanio, ¿verdad? Titanium o algo así, es no es tan bueno como el nickel, pero, pero todo depende, en mi opinión, todo depende en la calidad del material del pistón o del cilindro. Y ya pues el estilo, pues, ¿verdad? Todos tienen diferentes ideas o preferencias o pensamientos. Yo nunca he usado un Meteor, pero un día nos va a tocar pues a jugar un poquito con las cosas, y ya cuando tengamos más tiempo y maybe un poquito más billete. So Moises was just asking, he was saying that he's fixed, 500i, a 400C, 462. And he was saying that they all had like a yellow cylinder, or excuse me, a yellow piston. So, lo amarillo yo creo que es pues de calentarse mucho, ¿verdad? No tenía suficiente lubricación para mantener el pistón y el metal, pues, más, como quien dice, no tan caliente, ¿verdad? So, así es como estaba pasando aquí. Si nota, está como amarillo, como color como más cafecito ahí. So, es nomás de calentarse mucho. Así como este cilindro también, si nota, se mira pues amarillo, ya se está haciendo negro, pues más como café, pero es nomás de calentarse mucho. But he was also saying that he's replaced the pistons because they were all scored up and just fried up using the Meteor pistons, Meteor brand, and he was asking if it would make much difference or if it would affect performance. And the way I responded, and I don't know if anybody would have any insight, I don't have experience running the Meteor pistons. So Meteor piston, it's, from my understanding, it's also a design. So instead of a flathead piston or a flat piston, the Meteors have like they're a little curvy. They have like a little hump. Some like the Meteors, some don't. Some say they're better for whatever reasons. I don't have any experience. And so the way I responded to Moises is that, in my opinion, I don't think it should matter as long as everything matches up, the bore and everything. But one thing that I did say is what would matter is the quality of the piston. So, if it's aftermarket or just the quality. And I just kind of made a reference or an example, like comparing an OEM, whether it's Echo, Husqvarna, Steel, just original cylinder head, opposed to, a highway cylinder or any other aftermarket cylinder. That's where I think it would matter. But again, I don't have any experience with aftermarket pistons or cylinders, but that's one thing I would really highly consider is the quality of the material being used to, make the piston or the cylinder. As far as, the chrome plating, the highway cylinders are very popular nowadays. At least they pop up a little bit more. They pop up to my attention more now. And I guess the biggest thing was with those highway cylinders. I actually have one here that a customer brought, and we'll get into that later. Was the plating, the chrome plating, because I guess there's two different. There's the Nickel, which is what we consider the better quality plating, and then I think there's also like and excuse me if I'm wrong, titanium or something other than the Nickel. So that's all Moises was asking. But again, I truly don't have any experience with anything really aftermarket, because I don't recommend it. I will mess around with it once we have more time, a little more money, and yeah, just so we'll see. But I'm gonna go ahead and keep going on with this cylinder. We're almost pretty much there. I actually am able to get to the top there, so Tool's a little janky. It's broken. My flashlight don't work. I just remembered that. I had it here on display and it doesn't even work because the battery is stuck. Cell phone flashlight it is. It's kind of a bummer. This is a good flashlight, other than the battery started for some reason like corroding. I don't know. So I need to hit it a little more at the bottom of that transfer, at the top, in between the transfer, and then a little bit more on above the exhaust port. So at this point I am going to apply a little more pressure. If I was able to use the whole surface of the sanding wheel or bit, whatever you want to call it, because right now I'm basically just using the tip and it's still fine, but yeah, let me apply a little more pressure. And See what we got. Okay. Still feel a little bit on that. Because I feel like I'm getting close to the lip of the port, but I'm still not hitting it quite right. Whoa. Everything else looks good. Okay, let's try to get a little closer. Okay, still can't get quite to the, so I need to go a little bit more to the right. And then I think the rest I can just hit with that finer sandpaper. Definitely be able to reach it there, and then just a little more, because I haven't gotten close enough to the top of that transfer there. But at least we don't have any gouges anymore. That's good. That's a great thing. Of course, we'll see how it does when it runs. At this point, just gonna get a new piston ordered up. Although that's not, no gouges there, but let me just see. Just a lot of transfer. Whoa. And that is all I'm doing now. It looks a lot more even. Yep. I am happy with that. I feel like the OCD was kind of taking over a little bit. And that's when things can and will go wrong most of the time. Especially when porting. That's tricky. Yep. Cool. I feel good about this. Of course, the running test will always tell you the actual truth. But as far as visually, the good old the good old fingernail trick. Didn't go through any plating, which at that point, if we did, then we're taking off. We're really going a little hard, but I mean, obviously I am taking material off, but not. And check it out. Might be a little hard to tell, but nice and smooth. Yes, you can still see, you know, some little bit of markings there, but they're smooth to the touch. And either way, I still need to hit it with some of this. Again, they call it plumber's abrasive sandcloth, but it's just fine. It's just some sandpaper, but it just helps make the finish a little nicer. And it'll help hit the places where I couldn't reach with the tool there, with the sanding bit. We got Leonardo Batista Rocha. Hello, my friend. Glad you can make it. Buenas noches, and yeah, Merry Christmas to you and your family. Hope you're doing well. It's always cool when you stop in and say hello. I know you're busy. Everyone's busy, but Digger Mike says, "What you get for Christmas, man? What you get for Christmas?" So I stopped getting. I mean, okay. So what I got was I got $50 from Grandma and Grandpa. Okay, a nice card, but most importantly, I have Grandma and Grandpa, my family, my health. We have the shop. We're doing live streams, and I've met myself a nice gal, and man, she's been truly amazing. supportive, encouraging, motivating, patient, and so I got a lot of gifts this year. I'm really ending the year with a bang here. And just most importantly, I have grandma and grandpa. Yeah, I have my mom, my brother, my family. But as far as like actually getting something, I got $50 from grandma and grandpa, and hey, it helps. It helps a lot. So, but most importantly though, I got life, good people, family. I got you guys, and we got chainsaws. So it's the family that counts. Life as God's gift. Exactly. Exactly. I know sometimes, at least speaking for myself, we get pissed off or frustrated because things don't go our way, or we're, maybe not feeling patient enough for things to happen, and we think, oh, things suck. But family's everything. To be able to say that I have my grandma and grandpa on my mom's side, I have grandma on my dad's side. Unfortunately, we lost grandpa earlier this year on my dad's side, but still have grandma and grandpa, my mom, and just family, just family. You know, things are just materialistic. I know sometimes we want the materialistic stuff. You know, sometimes I want to buy myself a little something, or I want that certain little thing. Maybe at this point, a nice Fordham Rotary, but we'll get it one day, man. We'll get it. And to be honest with you guys, and I don't even know why I have to say to be honest, I know some would say, oh yeah, right, dude. But when we started up our little shed shop here, I was still working at the power equipment shop. We could have bought ourselves that nice $600 Fordham, but I was like, you know what? Something that I've been practicing. You don't always have to get the name brand. You don't always have to get the most expensive, better quality. Just get something to start off, and then go from there. So, and this thing has been working out very well. It's only broken because when I don't even know how I lost it. I took it apart for some reason and lost a little bearing, and I haven't been able to find the right size since. But either way, don't always have to have the nice fancy dancy, tools. And let's see. Our front butt's still in season. Not sure what that means. Jess says bald queso. What? Obese Dwayne Johnson. Not sure what that even means. All I got was queso out of that. That's all I got. Now it makes me think of the cheese tamales that we made this year, that we have. Blessed to have tamales this year too. Oof. But let's see. Ripsaw, hell yeah. Tree guy here. Rap Dad Moody, much love to you. Thank you for the love and support, the kind words. Yeah, we're rocking the Ripsaw hoodie, and whoa, got the Ripsaw hat on today. I am a Ripsaw supporter, and it's not. Obviously, I'm wearing their stuff, but the Ripsaw name makes people feel a certain way sometimes, especially right now. And I've heard things. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know. I've never experienced any of those things with those guys. I honestly haven't ordered much from them. I ordered a quarter pitch conversion kit, but now that I know what sprocket they use, which is just the Aussie Archer sprockets, from what I understand, well, it's the same part number and everything. And I ordered their bar. I ordered their Ripsaw, the quarter pitch conversion, which comes with their bar, the Buck and Billy dogs, and then 2 steel chains, and which they're just the 64 drive link, depending on what size you run. But for a 12-inch, it's the 64 drive 043 3/8 Pico. Pico is just a fancy word for quarter low pro. It's like 3/8 and then the 3/8 low pro, the same thing. Same thing as like the 325 pitch and the now like mini 325. Same thing. So, but there's, you know, there's talk out there nowadays. But again, I don't know. I can't speak on that because I don't know. I don't know. Basically, just, you know, they're delayed. You know, they're long wait times, and people have been given the runarounds, and they feel like they're being scammed and blah 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 blah. I simply support Ripsaw because when I basically fell in love doing what I'm doing, chainsaw work, you know, when I started looking into porting and learning how to port and researching porting and figuring out what all that meant, you know, obviously they started coming up on YouTube, and I saw some of their videos, like the Buck and Billy videos, and I just liked their style and their story, which was basically, from what I took of it, was three guys. They're like, hey, we love chainsaws. We want to make hot rod saws, you know, just modify saw, whatever the story is. But the point is, they're doing it, they're crushing it, and some may say they're overhyped and overpriced and blah blah blah. And as far as the actual porting goes, there's a lot of great people that do porting. Aaron Lynch, buddy of mine. Red Beer Saws, another buddy of mine that I'm blessed to be able to call buddies and friends. A lot of guys port. I port. Obviously, I'm not going to say I'm at the level of Ripsaw, Aaron, or Redbeard. I do my work, and that's it. And one day I'll be able to do some machining, you know, decking, band cutting, things like that. But that's why I support the guys. I support the brand, just because, simple. They had a vision, they executed the vision, they're crushing it, and doesn't matter the business. I mean, businesses have ups and downs, but they're doing what they love, and I don't know, they're doing it. Let's see. And Rad Dad Moody, Tree Guy, so makes sense. You and Sura, much love, much love. We got YM in the house. Hello, hello. Actually, YM, good to see you. It's been a minute. And I know I saw the comment, do I cut trees? So I don't do a lot of cutting myself right now, I'll be honest with you, but I do work for a couple of buddies of mine that run tree service companies. I primarily do sales for them, but every now and then I get down on some groundsman work, and yeah, I do test cuts and stuff here and there, but yeah, that's pretty much it. But one day, you know, maybe I'll start up a little tree service company or something. I don't know. It's not that simple though, you know. I mean, it is. It can be as simple as just buying your gear and going out there, but it's not just a matter of going out there and cutting trees down. You really have to know what you're doing, especially when you're climbing. I can guarantee you, you will not find me up a tree. You will never find me up a tree. Well, I shouldn't say never, but no. But I do a little cutting. Digger Mike says, Ripsaw saws are not cheap, but much love. Yeah, no, they're definitely not cheap. I think that's where some people may be like, what? That's a ripoff and blah, blah, blah. But look, just like how we were saying, to each their own, right? Like Buck and Billy, like we were saying earlier about Buck and Billy and how we could agree. You know, everyone has a different opinion of what's worth it, what's not worth it, what's fairly priced, what's not. Me personally, I would love to own a saw ported by Ripsaw, a 500i or a 2511, just like I would love to own a saw ported or have a saw ported by Aaron or Redbeard. And one day, maybe with hard work and consistency, I will have a saw ported by each of my favorite saw builders, you know, because I feel like porting, everyone kind of follows, again, like a standard or a guideline or whatever, but everyone has just different styles. Everyone has, it's like an art. It's a little different. I know people have numbers and they follow numbers, but I don't know, everybody has their own little signature. I don't know, it's just different. Rad Dad Moody, check out Ground Pounder. He's a cool guy. So actually, speaking of ground, another buddy, another person that I'm very grateful and blessed to be able to call a buddy. He was actually just here a little while ago, but he went to go have some dinner and hang out with his family. But yeah, very cool guy. So you know, I've only been doing this for a short time, so I've been doing this for a little over a year. Our channel, we've had it since July of this year, and just through, I mean, just doing what you love, you can meet a lot of cool people, make a lot of friends, you know, like new friends, contacts, and there really is support. I mean, there's support in any hobby. You know, you just gotta, again, like Buckin says, you know, which I have his quote on my Instagram and on our channel here, and I really do my best to apply that. And that's, you know, the whole, you know, work hard, be kind, and be honest. Treat people right. Treat people how you want to be treated. I know it sounds cliche and cringe, but if that makes you feel certain, like if that just makes you feel like cringy, well, I don't know. But you treat people right, you do good work, you're consistent, you're honest, you'll get love, man. You'll get love. So but yeah, Ground Pounder though, really cool dude, badass climber, tree guy, just, yeah, good people. You know, Ground Pounder, Aaron Lynch, Redbeard, and then there's, you know, John Bob too. You know, he's around. He's another funny guy. He's Aaron's buddy. I think they're neighbors, and yeah, met a lot of cool people, especially doing our live streams. You know, I've met a lot of cool people. Recently, I became friends with Married with Small Engines. Some of you may know her, some of you may not, but another just super cool person, runs a really awesome shop, very knowledgeable, great videos, and just good people. There's a lot of good people in this world. We just I don't know, we just gotta do right by others and treat people good, treat people cool. Because if you don't treat people right, you do some shady shit to people, you ain't gonna get nowhere. Or maybe you will, I don't know, but that it would make me think. We got smoked with tornadoes this spring here, and yeah, it was a crazy year for weather and climate. It was crazy. South Carolina, you know, there was Miami. I mean, yeah, it was brutal, man. It was brutal. I'm fortunate enough that I didn't have to go through that. I'm here in California, but we get wildfires. That's kind of what we're known for. I'm here in Northern California. I'm here in Windsor, California, in Sonoma County, and it gets brutal as far as wildfires and whatnot. But yeah, Helen was hell. Not to be funny, but and we got Grayson Nichols in the house, another badass dude. He's, you know, it's really cool to see, you know, recurring viewers come back and friends come back. And I know we all have lives and we're all busy. You know, we have different levels of busy, but it's cool to see people come in and out. So it's really cool. But Grayson, much love to you, man. Hope you had a, you know, I don't know if you celebrate holidays, but I hope you had a good Merry Christmas. And yeah, it's going to be one hell of a year next year. I think we're all going to end it on a really good note, knock on wood. But yeah, I'm very fortunate to be here with you guys and to be doing the YouTube thing now. And our freaking channel now is 2,000 plus subscribers, which to me, that's mind blowing. Some might say those are rookie numbers, pump those numbers up, but we're doing this for fun. You know, we're doing this for fun and because we love what we do. And I was juiced up when I started getting 5 subscribers, 2 subscribers. I was like, whoa, people are actually, you know, interested. And especially the live streams, they're getting bigger and bigger and just more active. Comments are, you know, popping off, and it's just really cool. A little backstory on our live streams. One of the points of the channel, of our channel, Yours and I's, was to just to dump videos of everything that I was doing at the power equipment shop that I was working at here in town, and then obviously once I started our little shed shop here, and also to just make videos like how-to videos, simple, how to check for spark, how to just troubleshoot a saw or equipment, you know, because at first it was a little bit of everything, but we love saws. I love saws, so now it's strictly just saws. Every now and then I'll get a leaf blower here because that's what our guys use. I cater to tree service companies, and so they use, obviously they use leaf blowers or blowers. I just know them as leaf blowers, but anyways, blowers. And so I'll get a couple of steel BR, the 800s, you know, the BR 800Cs or the X's. But the way these live streams started was I wasn't able to make videos just because the work was surprisingly coming in, and so I was like, man, I was just posting a bunch of shorts. That's how it started, and I still pretty much just post shorts. And I was like, you know, how else can I bring more content? How else can I just, you know, do a little more? So I realized that when I'm working on saws or doing stuff, I'm kind of like mumbling crap to myself and just, you know, what, he talks to himself? Weirdo. No. And I was like, you know what? Let me see, because as far as watching YouTube videos, I had no idea what the content creator side of it was like. So I was like, you know what? Let me just see what these live streams are like. Because on Instagram, boring, horrible. I don't even do live streams on Instagram. You guys kill it, you know. I live on Instagram as far as posting pictures, and the same thing, videos, stories. All of our customers are on Instagram. That's where all of our customers come from, and then of course word of mouth. But I was like, you know what? I'll just do a live stream, have it off to the side right here on the bench, and we'll just see what happens. I honestly, not to sound negative, I wasn't expecting much. And sure enough, here we are. It's been amazing. I have a YouTube family now. YouTube family and friends. You know, it gets weird every now and then, but thankfully, like I was just talking to my special person yesterday. They're like, well, does it get like weird, or like people mean or nice? And I'm like, you know, 97 to 98% of the time, it's smooth sailing. It's great. You know, yeah, people get a little silly, and we get silly. I mean, that's totally okay. But it gets to the point sometimes where, like, that 2% every now and then, maybe people have bad days, and I understand, or just we catch that part of the algorithm where, yeah, we get some people in here that are just kind of, I still call them goofy, but they're just a little, they're kind of harsh. But and you know, we play it off well most of the time. But yeah, I mean, it, you know, of course it still affects me. You know, it affects me. And I think what pisses me off when people start acting just a little too goofy is, you know, for our viewers, you know, they don't want to see that junk, because since the beginning, all I ever want our channel to be is welcoming and, you know, pretty much a safe place. Some people might be like, oh, yawn, but no, it's the truth, you know. And we're just here to share the journey. For first and foremost, just share the journey and just mess around with stuff and hopefully learn from each other. And which I've already have. I have a lot of friends, a lot of people, viewers that come in, and, you know, and just help out. And I think that's all the world should be like. Just we can learn off of one another instead of whatever, you know, instead of being like, oh, you know, what's up, why is he doing that, or just, I don't know. But the point is, everyone's always welcomed here. But yeah, I mean, it's been smooth sailing since July of this year. It's been smooth, but every now and then we catch that wave where it gets a little rocky, hit a little turbulence. But that's just life in general, right? It can't always be smooth. But thankfully though, it's been amazing journey. And I love doing these live streams because it helps me too, not just to be here and be like, okay, we're doing this today and look at me. But sometimes when I'm not having the best of days, sometimes I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to go on live stream because maybe I'm feeling frustrated or impatient or whatever, or my patience is low. And you know, but usually it helps. Usually it helps, you know. Um, I come on here and then you guys start showing up and saying what's up and hello and, you know, but so yeah, I look forward to it and yeah, here we are. So that was a random story, but that's just, I don't know. It's kind of relevant, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Rad Dad Moody says, let's see. Sorry, I'm missing some of these comments here. John Bob is definitely hella cool. John Bob is hella cool for sure. John, Aaron, Ground Pounder. There's a lot of, yeah, they're freaking awesome. And hopefully one day we can meet them. You know, my goal right now is to if all goes well, if the universe keeps treating us well, health and, you know, obviously financially and just and things, I would love to go out to the Paul Bunyan show next year and just meet everybody. So, and I think we will, but there's a lot can happen between now and then. So, but we'll see. Dano and Climber Clint also. Dano and I think I'm not gonna try to act like I've heard of them. I'm pretty sure I probably came across, if they do YouTube or Instagram, I probably came across them somewhere. Climber Clint though, I feel like that one sounds familiar. Rap Dad Moody says, got some cool footage of doing crane work, picking trees off houses and shit. I've been seeing a lot of crane work lately. So my buddy Victor from TreeX here. So this is going to be kind of in relation to Fremont and Manteca. I've been out to Manteca because I live here, right, in Windsor. I bought in a car out of Manteca. It was a 92 Mustang GT 5.0. It was a bucket, but I thought I was the shit. And anyways, long story short, didn't last very long because we were a lot younger and dumber. And long story short, we totaled that shit. Not very good. Story for another day. Grayson Nichols says, I gained 20 pounds. So the point is I've been seeing a lot of crane work. My buddy Victor from TreeX here in, you know, they're located here in Santa Rosa, Sonoma County. He's been doing a lot of crane work, big ass trees, man. Like, I don't know, maybe like 4 feet around, 3 feet around, just big trees, crane work, just really cool work. Obviously a lot more investing, you know, because you need to get your cranes. There's more safety, there's more things that can go wrong, but they usually pay. And yeah, crane work is awesome. It's fun. Well, I haven't experienced it myself in person, but yeah, it's cool. Cool stuff. Grayson Nichols says, I gained 20 pounds in 30 minutes. Yeah, I know, man. That's how I feel. So I'm Hispanic, and we made 12 bags of tamales this year, and we have a lot left over. And so I had 3 right before I started the live stream because I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start the live stream and get going. But then I started getting hungry, and I was like, you know what? Just heat them up. And yeah, grew up in Battle Creek. That's Missouri, right? Am I? Missouri? Or no, Missouri, I think. Missouri is a beautiful place. I lived out in Minnesota for a couple years back in 2017, 18. Very beautiful out there. Really nice. A lot different pace than California. Oh, Michigan. Oh, my bad. Oh, no, Missouri's MO, I think. Anyhow, Michigan, yes. But Michigan's very beautiful as well. Pretty chilly out there right now. I feel like I'm freezing my ass off right here, but I felt cold before out in Minnesota. Boy. So Grayson, yeah, it's been a lot of tamales, beans, rice. That's what I usually eat most of. Beans and rice, chicken, black beans, pinto beans. I have a burger every now and then because that's my go-to junk food. I'm a burgers and fries guys. You know, there's people that eat pizza or some glizzies. I like a good glizzy. He said what? Settle down, people. All right. Don't act like you don't like those Costco glizzies, because those Costco glizzies, boy. get your, I should get a propane little heater, or at least a little space heater, because yeah, I actually got to go hit the side yard because I'm a little chilly. I got to go take a little tinkle break, man. This cold, and I haven't even finished my damn coffee. I mean, it's cold, but because I like cold coffee, I like it nice and hot, but I let it like cool off so I can just, I don't know. I'm probably a little weird. Rad Daddy says couple hours away from Ground Pounder. That's badass, man. I wish I lived closer, because man, it would be really cool. And like I said, one day we'll all meet for sure. Just got to keep hustling, got to keep grinding, consistent, treating people right. And yeah, we'll get there for sure. We'll get there for sure. And actually, speaking about taking a little tinkle break, let me go hit that real quick. I will be right back. A urinal would be pretty dope. Just set it up. Like, this shed's probably what, 5x8? I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm back in a, I'm back in that 3x3, 3x2, you know, where it's like basically just arm's reach. If you know, you know. But hopefully you don't know. I'm just a ground guy. Like a groundsman? Or what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean, man? You blaze fatties? I used to, man. Big, tough. Bongs, fatties. I was never really a blunt guy. And I apologize if we got any like youngsters in the house, but no. And I actually just recently stopped smoking. What? It's been almost 4 months now. Almost 4 months now. I stopped smoking weed. Not because I necessarily wanted to, but I think I was ready to. But, you know, eventually things just kind of start messing with your mind, man. That weed, you know, it just, yeah, it was playing some mind tricks, and just, I was feeling like crap. And yeah, and I don't even think about it anymore. Surprisingly, I used to grow, I used to smoke, I used to work in dispensaries for quite a while, thinking I was really trying to do something in that industry, but bunch of bullshit. Hey man, groundsman's cool. I hit groundsman work every now and then, but primarily I do sales. But I get down on the groundsman work. I like all the action. I like the mechanics. I like the actual cutting, the actual working out on the sites. I love this. I love the industry, man. I love this shit. God. Grayson says, goad. 1 second. Whew. Boy, it's chilly. Chilly Willy. I don't know if anybody's ever seen the movie Cool Runnings. You know, the Jamaican bobsled team. They go to the Olympics, and they've never experienced snow or ice. And the one guy's like, man, I'm freezing my nays off. Well, so am I. And if they weren't existent before, they're not existent right now. He said, what? Settle down, people. You're hearing things. Whew. But no. It takes special guys to do what we do. It really does, man. It really does. Tree work for sure. And small engines. I mean, I do believe anybody can work on small engines, but I don't know. It's just a different world for sure. So good groundsmen definitely make all the difference for sure. Because if you don't got good groundsmen, you can have badass climbers, badass whatever. But even though climbers are badass, they're rock stars. The groundsmen's, they're rocks. I think they are the rock stars because, well, cleanup crew, man, cleanup crew, and you know, they get the shit done. They get it clean. They're basically responsible for making the job site look good, and just everything, you know. So, all right, Grayson, we'll be here. Okay, so let's get to the last part of this cylinder cleanup. At this point, we've gotten rid of the gouges and all that. So now at this point, I'm gonna just disconnect our tool here, since it does that right now. I think I had the owner's manual for this, and it actually told me the size bearing it was. I need to look for it. It's probably on the couch somewhere. So at this point, all I'm going to do for this is going to hit it with this 120 grit sandpaper, just to clean up the finish a little bit, and then hit the spots where the sanding bit didn't reach, and we go from there. And I was going to also clean up this cylinder, like how we're doing this one. We need to figure out what to do with that squish band, because as you can see, there's some damage on that. So backstory to this cylinder, it's a 461. We had some major damage control here on the piston. We suspect that a buddy of mine and myself suspect that the piston ring started hanging up on the exhaust port, and as you can see, the cylinder got super toasty and just running very, very hot. And so I think it made the metal of the piston even more weak, and it just pretty much seared it right off. And so the piston ring, as you can see, some of it was melted or almost welded into the piston, and it just rattled inside there, and it really nicked up that squish band. If I knew how to do machining, or if I had like a CNC machine or whatever they're called, you know, I would just cut the band a little bit just to smooth it off. But thankfully I know some good peeps, and they might be able to help me out with that, instead of having to buy a whole new top end. And if they can, we'll just cut the band up a little bit, do some machine work, and then just buy a new piston. And I think it'll still be cheaper than buying a whole new top end, which is like, oh, I don't know, closer to like 450 bucks or so, something like that. Either way, a little more than 400 bucks compared to maybe some machine work, depending on the price. Even if it was, I don't know, I don't really know what that goes for. And then just buy a new piston and rings, which it'll come with. Does it come with rings? Yeah, it comes with everything, and new needle bearing and all that good stuff, and the clip. And then, yeah, go from there. I think that'll be that sounds like a good solution. And so I was just going to clean up. It doesn't have any gouges. It just has some slight markings, basically just piston transfer from the piston coming in contact with the sleeve. But I'm just gonna, I was just gonna clean up those markings just for good measure, and then find a way to clean up that squish band, because it won't run. It's not good to do that, because, or leave it like that, because I really do think it's gonna affect performance. Plus, there's like pieces of piston and piston ring just pretty much wedged and lodged and like melted onto the, anyways. And I was going to clean up the cylinder tonight, but here my time it's 6:30, and I think we can get to this tomorrow. I don't think you guys will mind too much. And then also start porting up our personal Echo 2511 cylinder that only has a little over an hour of run time. We're just gonna port it, and this, we'll just finish this up tonight. And if all goes well, as long as the day shows up, we'll be here tomorrow. I will start the live stream earlier because today time just got away. So one of the things that I'm working on right now is doing a okay, long story short, walking 2 times a day, either once in the morning, early afternoon, and once like right now. So that's kind of what I want to do right now, is finish this up and go for my last walk of the day, since I didn't do the second walk yesterday. I know I slacked. Today's day 3 of doing that, and it's not for a New Year's resolution. It's just to get a little more exercise, and you know, because I do a lot more sitting now that I'm not working at the power equipment shop. Because when I was at the power equipment shop, I was up and down all day on my feet, climbing up ladders and stacking boxes and stocking shelves and blah 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 blah, and lost a lot of weight. And I'm not saying I've blown up, but we've gained a few pounds again. So walking is really good, and it's been helping me feel really good. So I kind of want to just finish this up and do a nighttime walk, even though it's freezing. But hey, once we start moving, it'll be good to go. I did my first walk this morning, or early afternoon. I did 2.85 miles, and I got in like 6,000 something steps. So pretty cool. So anyways, let me see. I'm missing all these comments. My bad. We can out trees on the ground and clean them up, not just cut them down. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. We got Styro Moose in the house. Says, love you, my dude. Wish I could watch this live. You're all good, man. You're all good. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here, even if it is for a little bit. I like to use WD-40 to clean that. It works, but need to scrub it a lot. WD-40 works for a lot of things. I agree. Same thing with like porting. You know, you use a little WD-40 so that way your the carbide burs don't like clog up and get dirty. Blew off piston. Yeah, so a buddy of mine and myself, we think that I mean, this cylinder ran way too hot, way too hard. Could have been a combination of just a dull chain, running really dull chains, and or you know, not a good oil, or just running it way too hard, you know, or a combination of everything. And so yeah, we think that the so this is on the exhaust side. We think that the piston ring started hanging up or hung up on the exhaust port. The piston was super hot, and it just blew a chunk right off the top of the piston right there, along with that part of the ring, and it all went in here. It was so hot that everything started melting into the squish band, as you can see. So there's like melted metal here going on. Part of the piston ring was like welded onto the freaking top of the piston there, pretty much, or just from so much impact and heat and just softness. Yeah, it basically wedged itself or lodged itself right into the piston. The cylinder sleeve, though, surprisingly, is not horrible. It just has a couple little markings, not even gouges. It doesn't hang up the fingernail, but I was just going to clean it up just for good measure, just give it a nice little pass. But I need to figure out what I'm going to do with that squish band, because I still believe that the cylinder is still salvageable, and it is. So my theory is we can just cut the band a little bit, you know, do a little machine work to it, and it should be fine. And I don't have the resource to do that in the shed or in the shop, shed shop here, but thankfully I know some peeps, and I believe that they might be able to help me out with that. So we'll see. That's to be continued. But for now, we're going to finish up this cylinder sleeve, which we're just going to give it a pass with this here. It's 120 grit, just to kind of clean up the finish a little bit, make it look a little nicer. We got Grayson back in the house. And yeah, it's hard to start up a new habit. But my theory is that it's a lot easier when we actually are willing to, we're not just like, I guess I'll try it. No, like it's a lot easier when we actually want to, and we do it when the time is right. A lot of the times we don't succeed because, at least speaking for myself, you try to do it, but you don't really want to. But anyways, but yeah, either way, it's still tricky though, for sure. Like I'm actually working through a blister that happened starting the walks, not because of walking, but because my socks are a little rough and kind of old, because I wear all my stuff until it's just like fall, like degrading, like just disintegrating. And I wore these socks. Apparently they were really really old and thin, and as I was walking, thankfully I was almost done with the walk, and I don't have a certain time limit. I just walk until I'm like ready to be done, but usually I try to hit at least a half hour, but thankfully it's been half hour. Today it was an hour and like 20 minutes, but that's because I had to stop a little bit because of the blister little shit that's going on my foot. But the reason it even happened was I was walking and I started feeling that sensation, and so I stopped and I took my shoe off, and sure enough, a freaking hole. Gotcha. No, I'm just kidding. um so I started just friction. So, and I got a blister, but I've still been going on my walks, and I just go until it really starts like bothering me or hurting or whatever. But yeah, it's been really good, man. It's been really good. Stopping a very hot sock can do that sometimes. The crankshaft did not bend. Everything is good. We went through all that. Bearings are good, both bearings, and everything is good. And that's one thing I always recommend to customers and to my buddies is like, don't try not to just like abruptly shut off your saw. Just like let it just chill for just a second. You don't have to let it sit there and cool off for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or just let it do its thing for a little bit and then cut it off. But I understand, you're out there in the field and you're in go mode, and I understand. But one thing I always really do say, especially for 500i owners, just because I've heard of problems with the whole, gadgets, the computers, ECU essentially, is that if you abruptly shut it off, it can confuse the ECU or the computer, whatever you want to call it, and it'll confuse it, and it'll stay thinking that it's still in like high idle and it's still ripping, and it causes flooding issues and just weird issues like that. So I always just tell them when they have 500i's, just let it idle for just a few seconds. Just let it idle for a little bit, not even 30 seconds. Just let it idle and then turn it off, just so it can kind of register that it's not ripping. And I think I learned that from, or I heard that from Donnie Walker as well when I started researching that problem. Okay, let's just hit it with some of this here. Good old finger power. Damn, 18 degrees? Are you outside or what? That sounds like Minnesota all over again. I was trying to change a tire one time, a flat tire, and I think it was, 12-degree weather? No. Freaking lug nuts were all seized and frozen on there, and just... All right, Styro Moose. Catch you next time. Thank you for stopping by and saying hello. I don't know if I already said it or not, but if you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas to you and your family and friends. Hope you guys have been having a good day. So definitely we'll see you on the next one, man. Take care and be safe. We got Jisnu. My bad. I probably screwed that one up. Either way, we got Jisnu Bike Tech in the house. Hello, hello. Thank you for coming by and saying hello. Just giving this piston cylinder sleeve a last pass with some 120 grit, just to make the finish a little nicer and hit the spots where the sanding bit couldn't hit. I was going to do a little more today, but time is just kind of gone. And but tomorrow we're going to be working on this 461 cylinder. As you can see, the squish band's pretty nasty looking. We had some damage control. Customer's piston just, yeah, as you can see, we think it was caused by the piston ring snagging up on the exhaust port, and it just ran way too hot, as you can see, very discolored. And right now we started on this is our personal 661. It's the C version, so it has the M-tronic carburetor. I call it Big Bertha, and it had some scoring to the point where it was gouged, but I cleaned it up with the rotary, and we got the gouges out, and it looks a lot better and everything. The piston is gone, meaning we can't salvage that. I have salvaged pistons before, but at the end of the day, it looks better. It is better, but we'll see how it does when we run it. But I feel confident because I've done a 500i that was a little worse. I even cleaned up the piston, and that was about at least 3 months ago now. And my buddy, haven't talked to him just because he's busy with his tree service company, but he would have definitely let me know, just like any customer would definitely let me know if something isn't right or something stopped working, which I do have a good success rate, but it's happened a couple times or a few times where it's like, hey man, well it was running good and now something's happening. But you know, things happen. But boy, have I struggled with some repairs, I'll tell you. Those 200Ts, they're tricky. Good saws, great saws, but they're tricky. I don't know, something about them, they're different. Which yesterday, if you guys were watching the live stream, I was talking about how I had a story about a repair that I was working on, a 200T, and so long story short, I replaced some crank seals on that, oil seals, and a piston because it was damaged. Well, my buddy, last weekend, he's like, hey, can I call you? And I was like, yeah. He's like, because I wanted to, well, first he sent me some pictures actually, and he sent me a picture of a piston. I knew it was a 200T piston because he has two, and it was just completely just destroyed, like cratered and just and I was like, oh, I was like, wow, I was like, is that the spare 200T that you have that you were going to use for parts? He's like, no, he's like, that's the one that you just repaired for me. I said, what? You guys probably can't hear it, but someone's getting after it out there doing some donuts or some sideshow stuff. Sounds badass. It almost sounds like sounds nice. Sounds good. V8 for sure. Sounds like a Cadillac. Like the VTS or the CT or whatever they're called. The cool ones. I think they're cool. Or it could be a one of those like G8s or those Chevy SS's. Those are badass too. But they're getting after it out there. We have a lot of business parks out there, and the airport's back over there. Damn, that thing sounds nice. You guys probably can't hear it. Dude, that sounds sick. Let me see if I can hear it. I don't think you guys can hear it, but I definitely can. Anyways, we're getting sidetracked now. Badass. Let me see here. Let me get back into the shop. Well, if you guys didn't know what the shop looks like, or the shed shop, this is what it is. This is Grandpa's shed. I just started bringing all this chainsaw stuff in here, but everything that's not chainsaw stuff is all Grandpa's. When he used to be out here and doing his thing. There's Big Bertha. Anyhow. Digger Mike says I might start going live when I'm cleaning or working on my saws. Not sure, just nervous. Nah, man, don't be nervous, man. If you're worried about the goofies, well, one thing I can tell you about that is they'll be there no matter what. They'll show up no matter what, if they do show up. But just do you, man. Don't even worry about it. Believe me, I thought about all that stuff too, but don't even worry about all that shiza. You know, just do you, man. And if you start feeling frustrated, if people come in and they start being nasty and talking crap, just do your best to just not even kill them with kindness. They might think you're being a smart ass, but just wish them well, and that's it. That's all you can do. Just do you. I'll definitely start watching. Whoa, bro, what are you doing over there? Settle down, people. All right. Did anybody hear that drifting action, though, or is it just me? Oh, I think I'm hearing things again. Oh, man. I'm excited for this. I know I'm getting ahead of myself because we don't even know how it's going to perform, but I feel good about it, man. And I know I was just talking about how I try to stay away from aftermarket, but I'm kind of thinking, you know, just for testing purposes. Actually, no. I was going to try to say something like, just for testing purposes, I might just get the best quality aftermarket piston I can get. But at that point, because if it runs good, I'd rather have everything good, like everything original. So I'd rather, let's just move away from that fact, from that idea. Oh, man. Wow. Wow. No, I personally haven't tried the Holzforma or the Farmer Tech saws, but I think I will one day for sure. Just because, I mean, I don't know. I mean, from what I understand, I do have Holzforma products well, at least one thing, Holes Forma. Oh, which is this bad boy right here. It's basically just a steel replica oil seal puller. It comes in handy for most oil seals, except for those Bakelite seals that come on the 200Ts. Those ones you just have to do the whole chip away at it and not damage the crankcase. At least I've never gotten that to work. And from what I understand is that, yes, they are Chinese and whatever, replica. But from what I understand is that, maybe I'm wrong. And I think the person would know would be Aaron, because he does a lot of Holes Forma saws. He'll port them, and dude, those things rip. But from what I heard somewhere around is that Holes Forma, yes, they're cheaper quality parts and whatever, but they're just like old patent, expired patent part numbers. I don't know if, I'm sure they make some of their own stuff, but from what I understand is that, at least from what I've heard, is that it's not super knockoff. Like, it is, but it's not, if that makes any sense. But yeah, you should see what Aaron does to those Holes Formas, man. You know, the Husky knockoffs, the steel, is it Farmer Tech or Holes Forma 200Ts, and I think Holes Forma and Farmer Tech is the same brand. They're just like sister brands, or like knockoff, or like, because the oil seal puller tool, the little bag, it says Holes Forma and Farmer Tech. So they're pretty much, I think they're pretty much the same company. But that's what I have heard. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. But like I said, once we have a little more play money, you know, I do want to mess around with some stuff, because that's just what I don't know. That's just what I like to do. I just like to mess around and try stuff. Tomorrow we can talk about, I'll show you guys the highway cylinder. It's my customer's. He's like, maybe you can sell it on your eBay store, but I basically determined that we're not going to sell it, because we're probably going to be losing money on it, you know, having to ship it and all that, and just because he bought it for his 044C that I have here, but he bought the one with the decomp, and his doesn't have a decomp. And my buddy MG, that you guys will see here from time to time, or whenever they have time, he's like, well, why don't you just put a plug on it? And that's true, I could, but it's coming back to, I don't recommend running, especially if you're going to be working with the saw. I don't recommend, I don't know, if we can do OEM original, that's the best for me. Unless it's just going to be like a play saw, meaning, you know, just a little R&D saw or whatever. Not saying that you can't use clone saws for work, but I don't know. That's just me. They're strong saws, to be honest. We have one at work, and for $300 for a 90cc, you can't beat it. No, like I said, they're definitely not horrible, but I don't know. I just don't personally have any experience, and it's just hard for me to, I mean, like I said, I would love to try one or have one, you know, like a 200T. I mean, who would even know the difference? I mean, think about it. Who would you know, you buy the actual, you know, the frame and whatever, and then, you know, you slap on some steel parts, and who would really even know? They sound pretty much the same. They I don't know. And Aaron, like I said, Aaron works with them all the time. The 200Ts, like the 460s, and just everything. Husky, clone saw, 2511s. Might have to ask him what that's all about, like what, you know, how they actually make those parts, and how, you know, because I'm curious. And at this point, I'm going to go around the whole cylinder sleeve just to kind of match the finish and pick up any little markings that are left, or just to even it off. And I'm doing my best to keep it as like straight as possible, so that way you don't have lines just going all kinds of ways. Just, I don't know, my OCD, it doesn't matter. Some people just do whatever, but I just try to keep things a little uniform, a little even. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna hit this with a little bit of with the rotary, just to get rid of the shadow of where the piston was going up and down, because everything else is even and my OCD is kicking in. So let me just get that done real quick. Might as well. I can still go on my walk. I can just go. It's not that late. I mean, it's only 7, but my blister feels a little bit better, so we're good. And it's enjoyable to go on those walks too, because it's just kind of like, I don't know, little piece. The metal that they use in the clones aren't as good as the OEM, I find. That's the only thing I would think, is that the quality is not quite the same. But like I said, I think I read somewhere, I heard somewhere around there where, you know, they're not completely knockoff. They're just expired patents. But again, I don't know. And just like Trailer Trash Tammy says, a little dab will do you. That's all it needs. I actually need to look up her videos. I haven't actually looked up Trailer Trash Tammy in a while. She's free. She's funny, man. She's funny as hell. Her and Daryl are funny as hell. Her husband. Well, I don't hear the drifting anymore, and I hear sirens now, so... Have you ever... Digger Mike says, have you ever watched Ginger Billy? No, I haven't. What is it? What are they about? Ginger Billy? Wow, look at that. Wow. All right. Okie dokie. Let me see. Oh man, I missed a lot of comments. Total Tech says, don't try this at home, folks. Trained professionals only. Whoa, professionals. Don't give us too much credit now. Just smoothing out the cylinder walls. TK, yes. Right now we're just, I'm just cleaning up the finish. So this is our, I don't know if you've been here, but this is Big Bertha cylinder, our personal 661C. It had some scoring to the point where it did have some gouges, but I just went ahead with the rotary tool here. That's not supposed to be like this, but hey, it works. I'm not sure what grit this sanding bit is, or sanding wheel, but man, we definitely don't have any gouges or even markings at this point, which would be like the, you know, piston transfer. This is not its piston, but nice and smooth. Feels like a new cylinder. It's nice and smooth. We didn't go through any plating, and so I'm just using, I just picked this up at my local hardware store, True Value. It's called Plumber's Abrasive Sandcloth. It's just sandpaper though. It's 120 grit, and it just helps smoothen up the finish, and yeah, just smoothing it up and making it look nice and even. I'm also not going around in circles. I'm just doing my best to keep it nice and level with my back and forth here. Man, we got some sirens going on out there. That way it doesn't look all crazy. Right now I hit it just a little bit, just because it still had a little shadow from where the piston was moving up and down, and everything else was nice and clean. And my little OCD is just like, what? Smoothing. Looks like he has wiggled his fingers in there before. So people do use, you know, you could use muriatic acid, but I watched one of Tin Man's videos. I don't watch him. I don't really watch him, but I was looking up like methods to cleaning up cylinder walls, and so I guess one of the risks that you can run into, or one of the things that you can run into, is that it'll start eating away at the chrome plating. But it works, he says, and I do believe that it works. I think Digger Mike was also talking about some sort of compound that you can use as well. Man, we got some action going on out there, man. Sounds like cops and ambulances and... Oh yeah, that's a cop. Damn, we got some shiza going down. I live in a small town. I don't live in the hood. At least not this part, but... some stuff is going down. Like I said, I don't hear the drifting going on over there anymore, like the sideshow or whatever the hell they were doing. They were just probably doing some burnouts or something, but high-speed chase. Got a need for speed. I don't even know why I'm still doing this, because it's good. My little OCD says it's fine. Well, it's not fine, it's good, but it's called, there you go. There you are, Mike. It's It's called valve lapping compound. I'm gonna look that up. They probably got a report. Total Tech says they probably got a report of some backyard cylinder machining. That's, you know what? Honestly, I sometimes I feel like, because you know, modifications, muffler mods, spark arrestor removals, all this and that, and you know, I'm not trying to sound like I'm Mr. Big Dog over here, but you know, I know that, well, Steel definitely watches my stuff. On Instagram, they just hit me with some love on Instagram. They liked a couple of my reels. Of course, I tag them. I'm not worried about it. But California is, well, California, and we're known for wildfires over here up in Northern California. So I do a lot of things that are probably, I mean, they're not allowed. Like if I was doing this at the power equipment shop over there, yeah, not good. It's serious because we've had equipment, you know, when you're a dealer and certain equipment comes in with like either the wrong deflector, the wrong brush cutting blade on there without the right deflector, you can, by law, apparently, you cannot give the customer back their equipment modified or any other way than just the right way. So muffler mods and all this and that, because you can get fined, shut down, and everything we do here is just, we're some chainsaw outlaws, okay? We do what the hell we want. But no, I mean, one day I'd like to be a dealer so that way I can, honestly, Steel, if you're watching, or Husky or Echo, I would love to be a dealer one day so that way I can get parts. I don't need access to diagrams. I never even use diagrams, honestly. Not trying to sound like, oh, he doesn't need diagrams, but no. That's just more confusing for me. I don't even know how to read them half the time. I just want access to part numbers and blah, 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 and maybe, you know, get some cheap parts. Open up EPA. I've modified. Exactly. I mean, that's how I feel like sometimes. Like sometimes I feel like the feds, man, they're gonna come in and be like, we know you're modifying mufflers and you're adjusting carburetors and blah 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 and removing spark arresters, and I'd be like, well, that'd be kind of cool if I went down and I was on the news like, man, in Windsor, California, going down for chainsaw modification. But hey, at the same time though, if a customer, like if I was to allegedly modify a bark box and did some stuff, and they went out there and caused a huge fire, and then they were not accountable, and they were just like, well, I don't know, that preferred guy, you know, they'd come straight to me and I'd be the one liable for that. So I mean, yeah, I guess I do kind of push the envelope a little bit. But you know what, man, whatever. Honestly, I say that now, and if I were to get busted one day, I promise you guys I'm not gonna be crying about it, because I've been busted for other things, and I just deal with it, and I think it'd be kind of cool, honestly. Knock on wood. Whoa. Oh, hey, how's it going? No, I say that now, but for real, I promise you, I won't be like, oh, I'm sorry. I'd be like, yeah, that's me. David Paws, Preferred Sawworks, at your service. You know how many more people would probably come to my shop? Maybe not. No, they would. They'd be like, what? Steel, I swear, if you're watching one day, look, man, I promise I'd be a good dealer. But, Bark Box Bandit, that's what I'm saying, man. We got MG in the house, M&G. My friend, how you doing today? I was just talking about you not that long ago. Good things, I promise. Right, guys? Right? Say yes, damn it. But MG knows. He was a, I'm sure the certification's still good. I don't know how long it's good for, a couple of years, I think, or a few. But he used to work at a dealer, and he knows that, you know, when you're an authorized dealer and you sell product, you do have to follow a lot of rules, and they're strict. Steel actually is probably one of the more the more strict companies, like if they see something they don't like, they can easily come in and take all their product. And that I already saw that happen once. We had a 500i full wrap modified with just West Coast bark box and dogs and clutch cover, like the whole nine. And I think it was kind of my fault because I tagged him when I first started working there. I was like, "Oh, this shit's sick," and I tagged everybody, you know, because that's what I do when I like things, when I'm into my work and when I'm into stuff. And it wasn't short after that where they caught wind of it. Our rep came in to the Healdsburg store. He didn't even tell anybody he was coming. We also had one in display in the Healdsburg store because there's 2 locations. They took a picture of it. They left, went over to, I think, like our territory rep or something. And that day I was there. He came in and he's like, "Hey, is blah 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 in?" My manager, and we're like, yeah, like he's up in his office, you know. I was like, "Let me go, you know, do you want us, let's go over there." He's like, "Oh, it's cool." He's like, "I know where his office is." And they were up there for a little bit. They left. My manager came over and he said, he's like, "Yeah, guys, like we gotta tuck this thing away. We gotta take it off our counter." Like, and I'm like, I was the one that was like, What do you mean, bro? Like, what? I mean, I wasn't all dramatic, but I was like, what do you, what?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "We can't have this here. We gotta like tuck it away somewhere." He's like, "We can still sell it, but we cannot promote it. We cannot like have it on display like this." And then he told us why, and I'm like, "Oh, that's bullshit." Like, I was the one that was like, "Oh, that's lame," and the other guys were just like, whatever, you know, because they're not about it. They ain't no stall people, man. And yeah, Steele told him, we can't have you like advertising our product like this. Like, you can advertise, you can, obviously we can sell West Coast saw stuff, but on their saws to customers like that, you cannot do it." And yeah, they put a stop on that real quick. They're strict, and I understand. They're all about quality and making sure their brand's not being misrepresented. But I mean, just like Echo and Husqvarna, Steel knows what we do to these things. ¿Ya se van? Uy, todavía iba a caminar. Ok, pues buenas noches. Pues sí, pues la friega. No, yo también ya mero voy a acabar. Okay, my buenas noches. All right, Grandma and Grandpa are going to sleep. But then again, they've been busting their ass. We've been cooking tamales, making tamales. So either way, we're ready to go. I'm done here because Grandpa's room is just right here, and I talk a little loud. But just to finish the story, yeah, Steel doesn't play around. I know Husky and Echo don't mess around, but Steel, I know, definitely doesn't mess around with that kind of shit. Especially if you're, you know, you're in a contract. You have to follow rules. You can't just, you know. And my buddy, I'm friends with the owner of a shop here called Frog Power Equipment. He already has Echo, Husqvarna, Toro, and he was trying to. It took him 3 years to get Steel into his shop, and that's only been about 4 months since he's, because they just don't play, and I totally understand, but they know what we do with these things, and you know I know they like it because it makes people buy saws, you know, and they see all my stuff on Instagram. I post them, or I tag them, and I've talked to someone from Steel, I don't know who, but they're like, "Yeah, like, you know, it's obvious that you love what you do." And but yeah, they're it's tricky. Being a dealer is tricky, and I think that's why a lot of people, they're like, "Yeah, screw all that dealer shit," because you do have to put it, you know, you have to deal with. It's not bullshit if you want to actually follow the rules and the contract. It's bullshit if you just want to be a dealer, but you still want to be like porting, and it's different. I don't know. It just depends. It just depends on what you want to do. I would love to be a dealer, but I wouldn't be able to do porting or modifying mufflers unless I'm going to be trying to, you know, bend the rules and bend my luck. But I don't know. I like what I'm doing right now. Right? Total Tech, yeah, streamer gets busted. That would get me some views, right? That would be crazy. And MG, he like he says, he's heard plenty of stories, and that happens. They start doing porting in, the back of the house, and it's just, I don't know. Like I said, I think it'd be cool to be a dealer, to be able to offer a product, because I think I would be a good dealer, support and just whatever, because I feel like I'm about it, but I like doing mods. I like, I have the nothing stays stock for everything. I had a 96 Corolla, and I try to do shit to it that people would be like, what? You wax your car? What? Yeah. Like, dude. But, and I have the dealer application. I have it. They've sent it to me. Not because they're like, hey, you should look into this, but because I was like, what does it take to be a dealer? I was like, what is it all? After that was before I talked to my buddy Mike. But I'm not ready to do all that, because there's things that I got to work on, like build up my credit a little more, make a little more quiche. I mean, Steel already sees what I can do and what I do, from the cleaning the saws and just consistency, and actually like having a love, not just like trying to make a paycheck. But it's a big deal. I mean, if it took Mike from Frog Power Equipment 3 years to get them in his shop, and he's legit, he's got a beautiful shop, beautiful setup, beautiful sales floor, beautiful everything, perfect. Steel is very selective. And even if I was able to qualify, that doesn't mean they'd be like, yeah, man, well, you're going to be a dealer. No, that doesn't mean shit. You can have all the money in the world. If they don't, yeah, no. And I get it. If I had a certain product, that's probably how I would be too, because, you want a good representative for your brand, for your products. I see some people on YouTube, and they're dealers, and and I'm like, all right. And that's just it. Rules are rules. Contracts are contracts. Just like when you sign up for a cell phone service, or a gym membership, a contract is a contract. And if something happens, you got to be legit. Customer goes crazy because they bought a lemon and they think it's your fault, and they want to sue you because they think you ripped them off. Well, that's where Steel would come in, or any brand would come in, and yeah, represent you or do whatever they have to do. I mean, and not to sound full of myself again, but it's just, I don't know, I feel like I'm already, like, I'm no different than any shop, other than my style and my service, and my actual love and passion for this. It's not just a paycheck. And I don't always make money. Sometimes sometimes I lose money, and I just charge what's fair. When you're a dealer and when you're an actual shop, you have to kind of charge what you need to charge. To be honest, that's what I see. And me, I'm like, you know what? This is fair. And a lot of times people are like, are you sure that's all you want to charge? And easily, if I was a dirtbag, I could be like, yeah, you know what? Actually, yeah, just give me whatever, or give me this. But that's what would drive me crazy when I would work at that power equipment shop. They would just be charging for every little fucking thing. Like, not even here's a free bolt or a screw, or like, here, this. And here I'm like, oh, dude, here, check this out. Like, take this, or, appreciation, customer appreciation. So what I was about to say is, the only thing that I'm not like the other shops is that I'm not authorized dealer. I'm not even a certified mechanic. I'm a self-taught mechanic, self-proclaimed, I guess. So really, I mean, I don't need to be a dealer. I don't need the title, because I already do what I do. And of course I could learn more, but Like, I don't even know why the hell I'm still sanding this shit, but it's just because I want it to look nice. And this is just an R&D cylinder, but I know it's gonna be good. But that's just the type of work that I do. I just do it, I guess. I don't know. And I will be honest, there's days sometimes where, you know, maybe I'm not in the zone and I just want to, I think about half-assing something, even though it's still going to turn out great, but I know it's not to the level or to the standard that people know my work at or by. And so I was talking about it a couple live streams ago. The conscious customers are not going to know if you didn't hit that little nook and cranny as good as you normally would, but if you're a good worker and you have a good work ethic, you'll know that you didn't hit that cleaning as good as you normally do. Like, and also too, I think of it as, but what if they go through their whole saw and they're like, oh, what? Like, look at that. He didn't even clean that right. Or he didn't even, that's not how he normally does it. And then they're going to think, oh, why am I getting special treatment? And I just suck it up and I do what I do. So, but at the end of the day, I am putting myself at risk no matter what, especially here in California. Like, and really and truly, who's to say that, you know, maybe Steel gets tired of looking at my shit and my bull crap, and they're like, you know what, that guy preferred Sawworks. I'm not that hard to find, people. I mean, I'm here. I'm on social media. Who's to say that, you know, they drop dimes or somebody drops dimes and they're like, that guy over there. It could easily happen. And maybe, I mean, hopefully it doesn't, but may not happen right now, may not happen 10 years from now, but it could happen. But I do what I do what I do. I don't know. That's just my standpoint. Okay. It kind of falls back to, and this probably does sound full of shit, but you know, scared money doesn't make money. I've taken a lot more risk and worse risks and other things that don't even benefit my life, that they just put me in a worse spot. This, it's a risk. It is. But I don't know. It's just what we do. Steel is a family-owned business. Yeah, dude, 96 Corolla, that's what, you know, that's what I used to drive, for, you know, a while back. Mainly because Steel offers legal, let's see, no offense, dude, but when I worked at a dealer, I would clean up saws up like new for tree service customers in 15 minutes, and they didn't even appreciate it. They just wanted sharp chains. And yeah, I mean, I do have some customers, but everybody already knows like how I do it. It's kind of like my signature to like clean them up really nice. And you know, you guys have seen the videos, and if you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys will really see like the details that I put into this. And a lot of people would be like, especially at the shop, they're like, dude, why are you cleaning up a saw? Why are you cleaning up a weed eater? And it's like, I don't know, man. I mean, why not? You know, and the thing is, I don't charge extra. Like, I don't charge extra for cleaning. You know, everybody just kind of knows that that's part of the service. You know, it's part of the service, and I do it to where I don't need to make extra time. Like, the cleaning process starts before I even inspect the saw, so I get most of the cleaning or like part of the cleaning done, and then I just clean it like while I'm waiting for parts or while there's downtime, you know. And so yeah, we gave free bolts and didn't nickel and dime, you know. And I know sometimes I know my manager and some of my ex coworkers, I know they watch my stuff here and there, not every day, but I know they're keeping tabs. and they still talk, because I have buddies who, you know, I send them to that shop over there, and they don't know they're my buddies, and they'll just, I don't know, I just know that they're watching, because I've been told. I saw one of the sales reps, outside sales guys, not too long ago, and he, you know, he's a cool guy. And he's like, "Whoa, what's up, man?" He's like, "What up?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, what's up, dude?" And he's like, "So what are you up to these days?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm still doing the same thing." I'm like, "I'm just strictly just saws now." And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I know." He's like, "The guys show me your stuff, your videos sometimes." And I know they watch, but what I'm about to say is like, yeah, towards the end, like, I was just kind of like, I'm not gonna say I was the man over there, but you know, I kind of just ran my own thing. I knew my job. No one had to ever tell me what to do. No one ever had to tell me, "Okay, David, this is your list of tasks." I took care of every single customer. I even helped out on the hardware side, cutting keys, helping people look for like just whatever. And yeah, I eventually was like, "Here, man, purge primer bulb, here, go ahead." I mean, to an extent, you know, I've even bought in customers service kits and bought in people parts, because, you know, I can tell that they were in need, you know, and I would do that. But yeah, bolts, little bullshit here, man, just, it's fine. I'm not even gonna lie. But because I feel like that's what we should do as a business sometimes. I mean, I did it over there, and I do it here, you know. And MG says, just say no when they ask you to adjust their carburetor settings. Well, I eventually, when the main mechanics weren't there, I did, and that was a huge. But you know what? I did it. I mean, why am I gonna try to bullshit you guys? I mean, I did it, but because you know how stupid that is. I mean, I know it's part of the contract, and I know it's part of the rules, but it's like people would look at, like, I don't know. And I know that was a huge risk for everyone, but for me, I was like, if somebody said, "Hey, I just need a little adjustment," or if I knew it needed a little adjustment, like 271s and I think the 291s, and there was actually a time where a 194, I believe it was a little low from the factory on the idle, and I adjusted it, and I adjusted high and lows sometimes, but because people would look at me like, "Are you serious? You can't even do that?" And I would tell them why, but I'm like, you know what, man? I don't even care. I did care because I knew the consequences, but dude, like, come on, man. We're gonna lose a customer just because. And the mechanics, at least one of them, he's a fucking prick. I'm just gonna say it. Clown. Always try to, yeah, just. So I was like, you know what? I'm not even tripping. Let's see. I still did clean it up. Make sure you wash the cylinder with soapy water when you're done sanding. Too much embedded grit stuck on the sidewalls needs to be scrubbed out. Yeah, I usually, like right now, I'm gonna, to finish up this live stream, I'm just gonna hit it with some of this purple power here. That's actually, to be honest, that's all I ever do. And then of course when I pour it, I just hit it with some air compressor and make sure everything is good. Let me see. Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's just a lot of things, man. It's tricky. I feel like for most things now in the world, especially in this day and age, damned if you do, damned if you don't. I don't know. And I think one of the reasons why my manager apparently was on my, like, he didn't ever gripe at me for stuff ever, except for when I decided to call out sometimes, you know, because I had shit to do, or I don't know, I just felt like my coworkers, my team could do a little more, and I just would be like, you know what, dude, I stay crushing it, and I would call out, and that's the only time you'd be like, hey man, you know. But anything other than that, because they all knew that if something were to happen, if I were to actually make a mistake or something would happen, that I do take accountability for me. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, it's because, yeah, I did it and I apologize, I'll work on it. And I did. And I don't know. I'm not saying it makes it right to bend the rules, but I'm just saying, if you are, be ready to take accountability and responsibility for your actions. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. All right. And we are good here. We are done. Tomorrow we will work on the 461 cylinder, and then we will start porting up our personal 2511T cylinder. But this is, I know it's going to be hard to, actually, I'll give you guys a, Dakota Kid says, are you hiding a dagger? You could hide a dagger or weed there. What's the cylinder go? Sorry guys, I'm missing a lot of comments. I apologize. You guys are probably not even here. Cameron Kisser says, what's the cylinder to? This one is our personal 661C that I call Big Bertha. And it was pretty gouged. So if I remember correctly, the definition to a gouge is just a deep groove or indentation. So in my mind, there's two levels of scoring. So there's markings where it's just piston transfer, and then there's gouges, which to me, that's like that is the worst. And I was like, you know what, let's just see how it cleans up with the deeper gouges, because I clean up piston transfer all the time. But this is what it came out. Didn't go through the chrome plating. There's a little bit of cloth fiber in there, but I mean, yeah, there's a couple little marks, but it's not anything significant compared to how it was. Hit it with that little sandpaper that I was using. Could probably hit it a little bit better right there. Maybe I'll probably just hit it. But that's what it looks like though. Just got to get a new piston for it and see how it runs. That's really that's really the moment of truth, and see what it does. But I had a 500i that was pretty marked up and had some gouges, and it was a little nastier looking than this, but it's still holding strong, still running good even 3 months later. And it is a working saw, meaning, you know, they use it for work. But yeah, that's what we're looking like. But yeah, goes to a 661. Tomorrow we're going to work on this 461. It just has some slight markings, no gouges. But the main thing is that squish band. It happened because of this here. Piston pieces were rattling in there, and it was hot and melted, and just a whole bunch of stuff. But we'll touch on that tomorrow. Yeah, that was the fun part too. We had tester logs, and eventually, like, people got to know me, and they would bring me tester logs all the time, and it was fun. What sort of damage is that? Did you scuff it everywhere? So I just cleaned it wherever it had marks, and especially the gouges. And then I just went around with this, they call it plumber's abrasive sandcloth, but it's just sandpaper. And I just went around the whole cylinder sleeve just to even everything out, to make it look the same. That's just an OCD thing. And I just like things to look good, or as best as possible. Because I've seen people, even on YouTube, where they do what we're doing and they scuff up and clean up wherever they cleaned up the cylinder sleeve, and they're like, okay, it's all good to go, and they show it, and it's like that meme, like, brother, like, what is that? Like, like, bro, just get the whole thing, man. Might as well. But now I'm gonna hit it with some new sandpaper just to get some of those noticeable, just for my OCD, but it's perfectly fine just like that. It ain't gonna make a difference, but it makes a difference in my mind. And I'm keeping the sandpaper as level as I can, not going around and up and down. I'm just to make all the lines look good, and or as best as possible, at least. But at the end of the day, you know, we all think differently. Obviously, we're all different, but we should always consider things, especially when people may have more actual experience than you, or knowledge, or, you know. And if somebody tells me something one day and I don't, not that I don't believe them, but I don't feel that it makes sense, I look into it myself. I do my own research and go from there. Does that affect anything like the bore size? For what I did, I don't think so. I don't believe it does. I mean, if I were to go a little harder, and I mean, maybe it does a little bit, but not. That's just my opinion. I don't really think it does. Now, if I was doing like an actual honing job on this, and using like a honing bit or whatever, just that'll definitely. But it just, obviously we're still taking material off, but it's not like porting where we're using something super abrasive. And but at the end of the day, I mean, we are taking material off, but I don't think it's anything dramatic. Actual honing though, yeah, it will, for sure. And if for some reason it does someday, doing it how we do it, we'll definitely find out, because we'll just have some problems. Because I mean, there is, I mean, like I said, we are taking material off, but there's no like metal shavings anywhere that, like, compared to porting. But like I said, at the end of the day, yes, we are taking off some material. I mean, we're cleaning something off, but okay. I'm gonna just leave everything here because we're gonna be back tomorrow, as long as the universe allows. Oh man. All right, guys. I'm excited now to order a piston. I'm gonna look that up tonight and see what we can find. I mean, we'll find something. Good old eBay. And no, we're not getting aftermarket. We're actually getting OEM. I don't even bother going to dealers anymore to buy parts. I mean, certain things I do, like just things that I can't find on my own or anything like that. But at least here, dealers take forever to get parts. I was trying to still shop at the shop that I used to work at, but we're not allowed there anymore, apparently. They're just too salty. But they get parts, steel at least, like sometimes in like 2 days, 3 days tops, sometimes, depending if it's back ordered or not. Everywhere else, it's like, it's ridiculous. All my parts, they come quick. All right. Hit it with this one now. Alrighty, MG. Much love to you, man. Thank you for being here. Maybe we'll catch you on the one tomorrow and see what's going on. MG's the man, though, for real. Some good knowledge. He was helping us out yesterday with the 461 inspection. Crankshaft, showed me, taught me a couple things. Dude's cool. Leonard Pascalis. Hello, my friend. Hope everyone is doing well. Hope you're doing well. And there we are. Big Bertha cylinder is all good to go. So this is a chainsaw cylinder. It's a steel 661C cylinder that I call Big Bertha. It's our personal saw. It had some scoring and gouges, and we cleaned it up. I'll show you guys what it looks like. It's got a little something right there, but it's nothing major. No, nothing's hanging up. Everything's smooth. I just finished it off the finish, so everything looks nice and even. No crazy lines going everywhere. Everything is in order. Although you see in between that transfer right there, I feel like I can get in there a little bit better. Let me just apply a little bit more pressure. But that's not going to affect performance. But it's just the OCD at this point. And if we can't get it, it's fine. No big deal. No, no. All right. Yeah, it turned out really good, man, for sure. Mike says, do you vac and pressure test stuff? I do. It just depends on the nature, but usually, yes, I do. And I use my steel pressure and vac tester. Really nice testing, or tester, I should say. It's a nice one. I'm lucky to have this. Although Something's going on with it actually right now. These normally go for like 500 bucks, about, or so. But something's going on with it now. It's not. Seems like it's something's going on. Anyways, that's for another day. But yeah, this is what I use. Legitty. All right, guys, let me show you real quick, and then we're gonna head out because everybody's sleeping now. They went to bed early, Grandma and Grandpa, and we talk kind of loud. So either way, we're done though. But this is what the finish looks like. Compared to how it looked like before, which I'll give you an example. It looked pretty much like this. It actually maybe looked a little worse. But we're gonna work on this one too. This is actually a customer cylinder. But that's what it looked like. That part right there is fine. That's normal. But all that's normal, but this is not. But that's what it looked like. Just a little worse. And this is what ours looks like. But yeah. Alrighty, guys. I hate to leave you guys, but it's time. It's time. I'm still gonna try to get my second walk-in of the day, even if it is just around the block and not out to my normal walking trail. So much love to everybody. Thank you for being here. Everybody that's commenting and everything, all the love, support. If everything goes well, we will be back tomorrow. A little earlier than today for sure, so we have more time together and just get some more stuff done. We're going to work on this 461 cylinder. Going to clean up the sleeve just a little bit. It doesn't have gouges, it just has a little bit of piston transfer, and then figure out what I'm going to do with the squish band. So I think I'm going to send it off and maybe get some machine work. I have a couple buddies that do that, so I know they'll be happy to help me with that. And then start porting up our personal Echo 2511T cylinder. It only has a little over an hour of runtime. It's a brand new saw. And that's pretty much it. So that's the plan. And then if we have time after the cylinder stuff, then I do have quite a few chains to sharpen. So we'll see what we can get done tomorrow. But for now, for everybody that celebrates Christmas and everything, Merry Christmas to everybody. And if we don't see each other tomorrow and the New Year passes, Happy New Year's to everybody. And yeah, we'll see each other later. See you.